resurrected from the grave, resurrected from a slave, resurrected in his name, resurrected to hold the faith till the earth will cease. Righteous branch, righteous leaf, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. But when is the end of the first? And how long will Jacob thirst? And how long will Israel be cursed? And how long will your prophets prophesy while your saints die? They hold themselves guiltless. Now all these heathens on my hit list, they would say never did this. Resurrection, your death gon' be my resurrection, my fate gon' be my resurrection. Yahweh Shai, my resurrection. I'm born again, I'm resurrected. Your death gon' be, my fate gon' be. Yahweh Shai, my resurrection, resurrection. I'm born again, no more sin. He conquered death, I'm resurrected, resurrected.
When I was told about Yahweh Shai, resurrected. All evil in this world, gotta admit this shit is hectic. The righteous seed of Jacob, though we fell into captivity. LOZ, here to lift up our community. Respect it, we Semitic. Kazar's trying to tell us that the Holocaust was epic. Hamashiach, they come to save your sin. Only Negroes, Hispanics, and the Native Indians. Hell no, we ain't comedic. The Holy Bible cut like a gas, it's penetrating. Now you awaken and you shaking. When you're in the presence of the Son of Man, you can't be breaking. The book of Exodus is written in 20:3. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Not submitted to y'all's laws or have you faced thermonuclear bombs, so quit the blasphemy.
Your death gon' be, my fate gon' be. Yahweh Shai, my resurrection, resurrection. I'm born again, no more sin. He conquered death, I'm resurrected, resurrected.
Wisdom cries out. She uttered her voice in the chief place of concourse. How long ye simple ones will you love simplicity? Fools hate knowledge, Proverbs can rip it. But back to these scriptures. Through Adam, through a Mashiach, blessed be the power and the Abba of our Adawan, Mashiach Yahweh Shai, that we may know him in the resurrection, being the first fruits of them to rise. He will also raise us up by his power. Ye men of Yasharallah, hear these words. Praise ye Yahweh, hallelujah. Praise him for his mighty acts, hallelujah. Praise him for his greatness, hallelujah. Let everything that have breath praise ye Yahweh, hallelujah, 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 yeah.
Your death gon' be, my fate gon' be. Yahweh Shai, my resurrection, resurrection. I'm born again, no more sin. He conquered death, I'm resurrected, resurrected.
Nacho, 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 Nacho.
I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob, I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Elijah, rain down fire. I be Elijah. Ascend to a higher. Why do they try us, deny us, turn up the heat and fry us? Is it because they ain't us? Is it because they hate us? Is it because we call upon the name of the Messiah? I be like Yahweh Shai. Father told me never lie. Father told me bear my cross. Now I know it's do or die. Father told me crucify my flesh so I can say a lie. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I ain't wasting time. I'm trying to shine bright like that star in the sky. He be my light, he be my law, he be my temple. I put burdens on instrumentals to bend you, mold you, show you the tree of life before you. I'm picking grapes from the vine, trying to be divine. But with all this sin in my life, I know I'm bound to die. I ain't wasting time, I'm trying to shine my light. I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob. I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ. Ha.
Because the picture of dry bones in the valley is talking about you. The picture of Lazarus laying dead 4 days is talking about you. You're Lazarus. You're the dry bones. You're the prodigal son. You're the lost sheep. You're the people about whom the Bible is speaking, who will stand up in the last day when the trumpet is sounded. Black people are waking up. Black people are standing up. Black people are rising up, and they're throwing sight into that knee-shaking white man.
I keep on having visions that they put me in the auction, a runaway slave till they put me in the coffin. Tears in my eyes with a noose around my neck, screaming Kwam Yasharala right before my last breath. I can't believe my eyes, cause I'm seeing life distorted. The prince is in chains while the servants drive Porsche. He ain't want the baby, so she had an abortion. Grown men walking around in women's clothes in the door. The Zion is acting like whores. Remove this cup for me, cause I can't take this shit no more. 1611 got a sharpen to my sword. Living in the third day, it's gonna be a holy war. Lope up at my table in the presence of my enemies. Talk behind my back, but they don't keep that same energy. Tell me how you real, but you got them fake tendencies. Manipulating scriptures, you ain't nothing but a Pharisee. Got me suicidal, cause I can't tell my friends from my rivals. Gotta keep my rifle right next to my Bible. Father, please forgive me for my sins if we get ways. I know I violated on that covenant, we know I have picture in the day we see a solar eclipse and watch it how a shower walk over that water in Flint. Cause it's time for revenge, that's what I read in Revelations. And we don't want no money, we need blood reparations. Come.
I mean that because these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever you think you are. We thugs that gets to these motherfuckers, you know? And until we lose it, I'ma call it like it is. I just wanna be a man in the store, you know? And you can walk outside, different house, think a man in either one of them motherfuckers.
I'm not Turner on this beat, Dutty Butman flow. Oppression and poverty while you slay my people though. Y'all dirty pigs, gotta pay for what y'all did. Y'all fed the babies to gators, remember gator baiters. I call it now with ladies because revenge is sweet. Y'all hung my fathers from the tree cause they look like me. But letter to my dog, man, I ate a cone. Turn like coal, you can call them as I run a spoons. My scripture break his bones and then it make you strong. We study it for hours. This word ain't for no cowards. We building us some soldiers. It wake you up like Folgers. We prophesying wins. We looking for the wins. Cause we don't take no L's. We coming up from hell. My scriptures ain't for sale. My soul is never sold. And I will never fold. Woman under deodorant.
fluoridated water. Children on the street selling bodies for a quarter. Fringed up with my beard, mixture on my head. I look around, see a lot of spirits dead. I see the demons talking, I hear the spirits chirping. I see the spirits walking, I see my people hurting. You looking at the sons of the true and living God. Weak Edomites run the world, something nah. Teach my hands to fight, and please prepare my spirit. Banging for our power, until the people hear.
I sit alone in my four-corner room, staring at candles. No, literally menorahs, all this OGs I see. Staying lit like the light of Zion, that's all I be on. Karash and Karatas are all a passion, eat them peons and make it look so damn good when we slide through. Can't see the shoes up under my garment, it's like we glide through. Really, shame in these shade face cavemen. Every other day we wake up Jake in different raiment. I'm just saying, boys hotter than corduroy in the Trans-Sahara. On that knowledge, come and walk by us. I guarantee we'll tell you not one word will ever fail you. All we do is prophesy. While your pastor eating pork chops and telling lies. I can tell by your mentality that you probably know. Ask you if you got it with fringes, you saying probably no. Obedience is better than sacrifice, so we stay on par. The same reason Laquan Matata why call me Basadar. You still don't get it? Better move boy, we them rude boys ain't no bullshit. Repent or get your wig split. Hold the Torah open, let me show you what I stand on. Thinking we ain't keeping commandments, boy, you dead wrong. Back to the place where commandments can only get us what you talking about. Edomite with us, now you can't come with us. It's a closed party, only march to the eye. Yasha, I gon' enter there. 12 gates with no white people. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And it's a celebration. Salute to the light of Zion. Kwam Yasha Allah. 12 tribes of Yasha Allah. Be obedient to the Most High God. Keep the law, statutes, commandments. Keep the light of Zion burning bright. Kwam Yasha Allah. Isaiah 8:20, law, statutes, commandments, faith in the Messiah. Kwam.
Bashem Yahweh Shai. Bashem Yahweh Shai. True sides. Drawing the swords, spinning the bows, severing thumbs, and head toes. Beheading kings, as in the times of old. Swinging the women and children, silver gold. The fishermen, the way the fishing pose. In very small numbers, Yahweh sent forth his hunters. Strong towers they conquered. Over walls they jump. Over heads they stumped. Over heads they stumped. This is the hunt. This is the almighty power of revenge that make mighty men cower within. By his mighty hand we been brought up out of this land. This is our exodus. Don't kill the messenger, just take the messages. Are you listening? This is our exodus. Don't kill the messenger, just take the messages. Are you listening? Open up your ears. This is our exodus. Don't kill the messenger, just take the messages. MYMG, LOZ, AOI. Pay attention.
resurrection, I'm resurrected, resurrection, I'm resurrected, resurrection, I'm resurrected from the grave, resurrected from a slave, resurrected in his name, resurrected to hold the faith till the earth will cease. Righteous branch, righteous leave, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. But when is the end of the first? And how long will Jacob thirst? And how long will Israel be cursed? And how long will your prophets prophesy while your saints die? They hold themselves guiltless. Now all these heathens on my hit list, they would say never did this. Resurrection, your death gon' be my resurrection. My fate gon' be my resurrection. Yahweh shine my resurrection. I'm born again, I'm resurrected. Your death gon' be my fate gon' be Yahweh shine my resurrection, resurrection. I'm born again, no more sin. He conquered death, I'm resurrected, resurrected.
When I was told by Yahweh shine resurrected, all evil in this world gotta admit this shit is hectic. The righteous seed of Jacob, though we fell into captivity. LOZ, here to lift up our community. Respect it, we Semitic. K's trying to tell us that the Holocaust was epic. Hamashiach didn't come to save your sin. Only Negroes, Hispanics, and the Native Indians. Hell no, we ain't comedic. The Holy Bible cut like a gas, it's penetrating. Now you awaken and you shaking. When you're in the presence of the Son of Man, you can't be breaking. The book of Exodus is written in 20:3. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Not submitted to Yah's laws that have you based thermonuclear bombs, so quit the blasphemy.
Your death gon' be my fate gon' be Yahweh shine my resurrection, resurrection. I'm born again, no more sin. He conquered death, I'm resurrected, resurrected.
Wisdom cries out, she uttered her voice in the chief place of concourse. How long ye simple ones will you love simplicity? Fools hate knowledge, Proverbs can rip it. But back to these scriptures, through Adam, through a Mashiach, blessed be the power and the Abba of our Adawan, Mashiach Yahweh, that we may know him in the resurrection, being the first fruits of them to rise. He will also raise us up by his power. Ye men of Yasharallah, hear these words. Praise ye Yahweh, hallelujah. Praise him for his mighty acts, hallelujah. Praise him for his greatness, hallelujah. Let everything that have breath praise ye Yahweh, hallelujah, 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 yeah.
Your death gon' be my fate gon' be Yahweh shine my resurrection, resurrection. I'm born again, no more sin. He conquered death, I'm resurrected, resurrected.
Nacho, 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 nacho.
I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob, I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob, I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip. I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Elijah, Rain down fire, I be Elijah, ascend to a higher. Why do they try us, deny us, turn up the heat and fry us? Is it because they ain't us? Is it because they hate us? Is it because we call upon the name of the Messiah? I be like Yahweh. Father told me never lie. Father told me bear my cross. Now I know it's do or die. Father told me crucify my flesh so I can say a lie. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob, I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb. I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob, I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip. I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ. I be like Christ, I ain't wasting time. I'm trying to shine bright like that star in the sky. He be my light, he be my law, he be my temple. I put burdens on instrumentals to bend you, mold you, show you the tree of life before you. I'm picking grapes from the vine, trying to be divine. But with all this sin in my life, I know I'm bound to die. I ain't wasting time, I'm trying to shine my light. I be like Christ. I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob, I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob, I be Peter, I be Paul, I be Philip, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be like Christ, I be Abram, I be Isaac, I be Jacob, I be Moses, I be Aaron, I be Caleb, I be like Christ, I be like Christ. Ha.
Because the picture of dry bones in the valley is talking about you. The picture of Lazarus laying dead 4 days is talking about you. You're Lazarus. You're the dry bones. You're the prodigal son. You're the lost sheep. You're the people about whom the Bible is speaking, who will stand up in the last day when the trumpet is sounded. Black people are waking up. Black people are standing up. Black people are rising up, and they're throwing sight into that knee-shaking white man.
Keep on having visions that they put me in the auction, a runaway slave till they put me in the coffin. Tears in my eyes with a noose around my neck, screaming Kwam Yasharala right before my last breath. I can't believe my eyes, cause I'm seeing life distorted. The prince is in chains while the servants drive Porsche. He ain't want the baby, so she had an abortion. Grown men walking around and women's clothed in the door. The Zion is acting like whores. Remove this cup for me, cause I can't take this shit no more. 1611 got a sharpen up my sword. Living in the third day, it's gonna be a holy war. Lope up at my table in the presence of my enemies. Talk behind my back, but they don't keep that same energy. Tell me how you real, but you got some fake tendencies, manipulating scriptures. You ain't nothing but a Pharisee. Got me suicidal cause I can't tell my friends from my rivals. Gotta keep my rifle right next to my Bible. Father, please forgive me for my sins and wicked ways. I know I violated on that covenant. We know I have picture in the day we see a solar eclipse. And watch it how I shall walk over that water in Flint. Cause it's time for revenge, that's what I read in Revelations. And we don't want no money, we need blood reparations.
I mean that because these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever you think you are. We thugs against these motherfuckers. You know? And until we lose, I'ma call it like it is. I just wanna be a man in the store. You know? And we have to talk about 5 different houses like a man in each motherfucker.
I'm not turning on this beat, dirty Bubman flow. Oppression and poverty while you slay my people though. Y'all dirty pigs gotta pay for what y'all did. Y'all fed the
babies to gators, remember gator betas. I call it now ladies because revenge is sweet. Y'all heard my fathers from the tree, cause they look like me. Boy, letter to my dog, man, I ate a call. Turn like coal, you can call them as I run on spoons. My scripture break his bones, and then it make you strong. We study it for hours, this word ain't for no cowards. We building us as soldiers, it wake you up like Folgers. We prophesying wins, we looking for the wins, cause we don't take no L's. We coming up from hell, my scriptures ain't for sale. My soul is never sold, and I will never fold. No deodorant, fluoridated water, children on the street, selling bodies for a quarter. Fringed up with my beard, meet you on my head. I look around, see a lot of spirits dead. I see the demons talking, I hear the spirits chirping. I see the spirits walking, I see my people hurting. You looking at the sons of the true and living God. We eat the mice, run the world. Something now. Teach my hands to fight, and please prepare my spirit. Thank him for our power until the people here sit alone in my.
How do you keep the Sabbath? Somebody break the, how you keep the Sabbath?
No working.
Right?
No buying and selling.
Come on.
No doing your own pleasure.
Uh-huh. So, no speaking your own words.
No kindling fire.
No kindling fire. No. Coming together, right? Worshiping the Most High. Right? Reading the scriptures. Right? Praising the Most High. Singing onto His name. All that is part of worship. All that is part of the Shabbat. And most importantly, convocating. Right? It's coming together. All right? This is a time that's appointed we are to come together with those that are like-minded in serving the Most High. That's how we keep the Sabbath. All right? That's the attributes of the Sabbath. Right? And ceasing from every other distraction that you might have in your life. Right? Give yourself that day to just be with you and your Father that's in heaven. And give him time. He wants time. So we must give him his time. Everybody understand that? Let's read.
Verse 4. Turn ye not unto idols, nor make to yourselves molten gods. I am the Most High, your God.
Come on.
And if ye offer a sacrifice of peace offerings unto the Most High,
come on,
ye shall offer it at your own will.
Right. Whatever you do for the Most High, it's got to be at your own will. It can't be because somebody forcing you. It can't be because somebody is guilt tripping you into doing this work. This got to be at your own will. Whatever you do for the Father has to be at your own will. Meaning that not however you want to do it, but the fact that you're doing it. Because whatever we do for the Lord, it has to be according to instruction. Everybody understand that? So what you do is going to be according to the instruction. But the fact that you're going to give, it's up to your will. Right? Some people are not going to give. Some people are going to hear the word and going to go about their business. Right? Because the Most High hasn't moved them to give. Their time, their money, their resources to the building of the nation. Some of you, the Most High, are going to use in various ways with the various talents that you have. And for those, when you do it, it has to be at your own will. Right? Everybody understand that? When somebody forces you to do something, you might have done it, but then what? You don't get the credit for it. Because Yah's like, man, you wouldn't have did this if the person ain't pushed you to do it. Right? He seeks a willing spirit. All right, let's read.
Verse 6. It shall be eaten the same day, ye offered, and on the morrow. And if aught remain until the third day, it shall be burnt in the fire. Right,
so the peace offering, was a certain offering that could only be eaten that day or the next day by the priest. And if anything left on the third day, it would have to be destroyed. Right? Because in the third day, what happens in the third day? It starts to spoil, it starts to deteriorate, it loses its perfection. And it can only be in its fullness, right, for the priest to receive it. Everybody understand that? If it at all, any ought happened to it, if it starts to diminish in any way, it is no longer good. Let's read.
And if it be eaten at all on the third day, it is abominable.
Come on.
It shall not be accepted.
Come on.
Therefore, everyone that eateth it shall bear his iniquity, because he hath profaned the hollow thing of the Most High.
Right.
And that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
Let's read.
And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field.
Right.
Neither shall thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest.
Come on.
And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am the Most High your God.
Right. So what? When you always got to leave a portion of your increase for those that are in need. Everybody understand that? A lot of times we budget. I know in this kingdom, a lot of times our bills is more than our money. Right? So we kind of doing things in reverse. Right? But when the Most High bless you that you can get in front of your financial obligations, make sure you set something aside for charity. Everybody understand that? Right? To look out for somebody. It's such a blessing to look out for somebody. You know what I mean? That thing will stick with that person for the rest of their days. You know, the day you looked out. Because you could pay somebody back the money, but it's the favor, it's the good deed, the time that, you know, that point in time can never be replaced. All right? That date has passed. So you can't ever do that point when somebody was in need and you came to their aid. That can never be replaced. That's stuck in time. Right? Remember, we can't go back in the past and change anything. Right? I don't know, I watch, people around my age, we used to watch Back to the Future. Right? That's the imaginations of man. We can't go back and change anything. Once it's gone, it's gone. That moment is gone. You don't get that moment back again. All right? So we have that opportunity to help one another to take it. If y'all put you in a position to aid a brother or sister, take it. Because you may not get that situation again or that opportunity again. Everybody understand that? And you got to move with it. Because that blessing's going to speak for you in big ways. All right? Let's read.
Verse 11. Mm-hmm. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another. And ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shall thou profane the name of thy God.
Right.
I am the Most High.
I am the Most High. So we're not to be swearing to the Most High falsely. Making oaths and vows that we don't have no intention on keeping. All right. The Most High he's against that. The scriptures say, let our yea be yea, and our nay be nay. So when we say something, it either is or it isn't. And that's something you have to practice. Because in this kingdom, this kingdom teaches us to speak with a forked tongue. Right? To say one thing but mean something else. Right? That's literally, English teaches you that, to speak that way. English is a language that is evasive and can be easily misconstrued and misunderstood. Anybody ever try to read one of those documents, those contracts? The language in a contract will have you bugging out, but it's written that way for a reason. It's written that way so what? You can't make it mean nothing else. All right? And they know their language is evasive and can be easily misinterpreted. So there's a certain language that needs to be used when doing contracts, right, within the English language that allows it to be understood and not be able to be moved. Or sometimes they put stuff in that contract to trick you, right? Put a loophole in there through their language, right? When you learn your Hebrew, you realize we have a very direct language, right? It's straightforward. It's either is or it isn't. It's right or wrong. Right? There's no maybes about it. Or I'm not sure what they meant by this. Or you're going to know what it means when you read it in the Hebrew. So that's why we encourage everyone to attend the Hebrew classes that we're having here every Shabbat, 11 a.m. We have Hebrew class and build your vocabulary up, build your sentence structure, understand how to communicate And also what you're going to do is you're going to build a Hebraic mind. You're going to start to think in Hebraic terms. And when you start to think in Hebraic terms, you more understand what the Father meant when he gave us certain things to do. Right? There's certain parts of the law, until you go to the Hebrew, you don't even get it. But as soon as you go to the Hebrew, it just opens up a whole world of understanding. All right, so we encourage everyone to come to the Hebrew classes in the morning. Let me get Proverbs. Get 12. 17. 12, 17.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 12 and verse 17. He that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness, but a false witness deceit.
Right, so the scripture said we had to lie to one another. You see, he that speaketh truth showeth forth righteousness, but a false witness is deceit. Come on.
There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. The lip of the truth shall be established forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Right, the lip of the truth is established forever. So if you speak in the truth, you know, your words will be concrete. Can't be moved, can't be misconstrued, misunderstood. Read on.
But a lying tongue is but for a moment.
Right, come on.
Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil, but to the counselors of peace is joy.
Come on.
There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord.
Lying lips are an abomination to the Most High. So we can't be caught out lying. Everybody understand that?
Right.
Because that's an abomination to the Most High. But it's talking about lying to one another. Right? Sometimes you might have to lie to your enemy. There's times, you know, our forefathers showed that. Right? Abraham lied to the Egyptians, right? Isaac did he also said that same lie Abraham said with his wife, right? So we understand that there's a time when you're threatened and you're in jeopardy when dealing with these nations, but amongst Israel, we should never be lying to one another. Everybody understand that? There's no reason. That's your brother, that's your sister. Whatever the issue is, that's better you make it say plainly, because we have to govern a certain way when it comes to dealing with each other. Okay, read on.
Verse, it's a little bit more.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but the heart that deal truly are his delight. Right,
the heart that does the truth is his delight. He's delighted in you if you tell the truth. All right, just be honest and straightforward. The Most High can't grudge you on that. All right, honesty is very important in the sight of the Most High. Read on.
A prudent man concealeth knowledge, but the heart of fools proclaimeth foolishness.
Right. Right. So sometimes, as a righteous man, you're going to conceal certain things. You don't have to speak everything. Certain things you can keep to yourself. Right. But a foolish man says everything that comes to his brain. It's like an open door. Anything that comes in, pop in his mind, come out his mouth. That's foolishness, man. That's foolishness. Right? We have to have, the scriptures talk about the doors of our lips, right? There's certain times that need to be shut, All right, all my soldiers supposed to know them scriptures, right? So we know that there's an opportunity and time to be spoken when you're going to be heard, and it's also an opportunity and time to be silent, right? To hear more than to speak. All right, let's sit on that. Let's go back to Leviticus.
Verse 13. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning.
Right, so we ain't defraud each other. We try to get over on one another. You know, we ain't supposed to be dealing unjustly when it comes to finance with one another. We're supposed to be straightforward and deal with each other, you know, on the up and up. You know, just balances. Okay, someone do some work for you. You do some work for somebody. You have the money, just give the money. If you don't have the money, say you don't have the money, right? But be straightforward. Don't be dodging phone calls and, you know what I mean? You know, somebody owe you now, you know, now they don't have your number. You know, I had your number in my phone and now I can't find your number. All of a sudden you can't find my number? All right, come on, man. You know what I mean? Those things we did in the world, man. When you come to this truth, it's not like that. We got to be straightforward. Everybody understand that? Let's read.
14. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind.
Come on.
But shalt fear thy God.
Right,
I am
so
the Most High.
I am the Most High. So what does this mean? Somebody break this down for me. Because, Maury?
I'm going to say with the deaf, that's like a person who can't hear. You're trying to give them word, and now you get mad, and you snap on them because they're not receiving the word. They're not receiving the scripture. Or the blind who cannot see the word, you don't put a stumbling block in front of that person because they can't receive the word. Most High is the one who gives us all the wisdom that we need to even receive the word.
Right.
You can't get pissed off.
Right.
You can't be mischievous.
You can't get tight. Right. That's an interesting breakdown. That's taken into a teaching perspective, and that's absolutely correct in that perspective. Is there any other perspective to the scripture? Because the scripture is evidently metaphorical. Yeah. So if something is put forth metaphorical, it's put that way because it applies to multiple situations, right? So that's why he used similitude and like a metaphor to bring out what he's trying to say. So you could apply it to many different situations, right? So the way it's applied to as a teacher, that's absolutely correct. All right, hold on. Quarry again.
Curse the dead. From that part, I'm getting like when you curse somebody, obviously you're speaking ill. Speaking ill to somebody who cannot hear you, or speaking ill behind someone's back, and to put a stumbling block before the blind is to set someone up for failure.
Exactly. That's another way you can do it, right? Talking about somebody behind their back. Cursing, talking negatively about someone and never spoke to that person, right? You cursing the deaf, why? Because they can't hear what you're saying, but you cursing them. And they don't even know you talking about it, right? And then you want to put a stumbling block in front of them about what's setting them up to fall, right? Because the stumbling block, what you're going to do, you're going to stumble over it and fall, right? So you setting up a stumbling block for your brother to fall, your sister to fall, and they don't even know you setting them up, right? So that's definitely a way that scripture can be applied. Captain Garage?
If you have an advantage over somebody, you shouldn't use it to manipulate them.
Well, explain. Break it down. Break it down with what is the deaf and what is the stuff, what is the blind?
If you know something that somebody else might not know,
right.
You shouldn't use that to
take advantage of, get a win over them, right? Yeah, set them up. So they, so you can get an advantage over them, right? Because you're privy to certain knowledge that they're not privy to, right? So you want to use that situation to get ahead on your brother or your sister. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, all
right. So let's say I bought a sandwich and it had pork in it, but I didn't know. So just because my friend is not in the truth, I'm going to give him the pork.
Yeah. That's in the law, but that's not this law. I know what you're talking about. That's in the law, but that's not this law. All right, go ahead.
That's like Jonah with Nineveh. He was supposed to show them the way of repentance. And because he wanted to see them destroy, he was trying to avoid giving them the way.
Because he wanted to see them destroyed. Because of their wickedness. So he didn't want to teach them. Well, I mean, he's not doing something. See, he tried not to do something, right? He didn't do something to reduce the problem, so that's kind of a stretch for that metaphor. Because this talking constantly doing something to induce a issue and a problem. You're creating this problem, right? Because you got knowledge of something, right? And you're going to use it, and instead of looking out with this knowledge, you're taking that knowledge and you are, hurting someone with it. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of a stretch for this analogy, but I know you're going with it, right?
Kind of like when the elders like bear false witness against
When the
Esther.
elders bear false witness,
Against Esther.
like in the book of Esther,
Because they knew they were elders and they would be okay.
or the book of Susanna, the book of Susanna. But they did it right in her face. So she's not deaf nor blind in that situation. I mean, maybe the other elders were deaf and blind. The judges, they weren't there, and they tried to use it. But she knew it. It was done right in her face. If they did it behind her back, it would be another story. So, but just so we went around and we got an idea of this scripture, this metaphor. Read it again.
Leviticus 19 and 14.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not curse the deaf.
Right, curse the deaf, meaning that if someone would have known that you was cursing them, they were able to respond, right? They were able to defend themselves. So you cursing the deaf means you saying something wicked about somebody that they're not aware of. Read on.
Nor put a stumbling block before the blind.
Or if somebody's unaware of the dangers that's in front of them, you are allowing them to go forth into this danger, or you actually putting a danger before them. Right? Read on.
But shalt fear thy God.
But we have to fear the Most High, meaning that we know if the person doesn't know, the Most High knows. And that's why I said we shall fear the Most High. When a person is unaware, you do something behind somebody's back. They're unaware, but guess who is there? Most High is right there. He saw the whole thing go down. So not because this person doesn't know, mean it didn't happen. Right? The scriptures say, such is someone that feareth only the eyes of man, but not the eyes of the Most High. Right? We can't just fear the eyes of man. We got to fear the eyes of the Most High, which are everywhere. Right? The eyes of the Most High is everywhere. It's in our brain, everywhere. He sees everything. Right? And we move in our spirit, then we know whether the person is aware or not, we shouldn't do certain things. Read on.
Verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment.
In what?
In judgment.
Come on.
Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor.
Right.
Nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
Shall I what?
Judge thy neighbor.
Shall I what?
Judge thy neighbor.
So should we judge one another? Come on. Right? I think we can't judge one another. Yes, we can. Right? We should be judging one another. We should be checking each other out, making sure we're doing well in the sight of the Most High. Right? If someone does something wrong, we should be all like, listen, that's wrong. And that's how people have a problem with it. That's how they have a problem being around the righteous. Because you're not going to get away with stuff that's wicked. Right? Right? Somebody's going to say something to you. Everybody understand that? As we should. And if you do something right and just, somebody else should just say something to you. And it should be your praise. Right? But sometimes we quick to judge someone for doing wrong, but we don't want to give them the praise when they do right. Right? We got to have balance with that. All right? We got to have balance. Go ahead. What's that? 1 Corinthians 6 and 2. That we shall judge, we shall be judges. That's a future prophecy, but I get where you're going with it. I think better is Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 2. These spiritual judges all things. 2 and 15. Yeah. Sorry, 1 Corinthians 2 and 15. If I start with 2 and 15, right to the point.
This is the first book. This is the 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
But he that is spiritual judges all things.
Right.
Yet he himself is judge of no man.
Right. So the judgment that we don't receive is the judgment of man. Right? But he that is spiritual judges all things, because we judge things according to the Spirit of the Most High. We judge things according to the word that's written in the Bible. Okay, read on.
For who hath known the mind of the Lord?
Right.
That he may instruct him.
Come on.
But we have the mind of Christ.
Right. We have the mind of a Mashiach Yahushua. So we judge things according to what? What's written in the Bible. Right? His words. Right? Go ahead. St. John? Yeah, we'll read that.
This is the book of John, chapter 7 and verse 24. Judge not according to the appearance,
right?
But judge righteous judgment.
Judge what kind of judgment?
Righteous judgment.
Right, so we are to judge, but we got to judge righteous judgment. Not according to how things appear to us in our sight, in man's sight, but what's righteous, what's according to the word of Yah. Read on.
Then said some of them of Jerusalem, is not this he whom they seek to kill?
That's it on that. Give me Zephaniah. Zephaniah, I think it's 7 and 9. Let me get there. Or Zechariah. Probably Zechariah 7 and 9. There's not too many chapters.
Execute true judgment.
Yeah. Zechariah 7 and 9.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 7 and verse 9. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion every man to his brother.
Right, so we're supposed to execute true judgment. We've been told to judge, to execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion when we judge. Not to tear people down, but to build them up. Read on.
Verse 10. And oppress not the widow,
right,
nor the fatherless,
come on,
the stranger, nor the poor. And let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart.
Right, so when we do judge a matter, we shouldn't be imagining evil against our brother or our sister in our hearts. You understand that? Because anytime we're put in a position of judgment, we should be, that time is to show compassion. That is a time to show mercy. Right? When our brother or our sister falls short, falter. It's not to imagine nothing evil against them, not to shame them or disrespect them, but to get them to understand that there's a change that needs to be made. All right? That's our job to do that. So we will, in the body of Yasharallah, we got to check each other. Everybody understand that? No one is above a check. Right? No one is above a check. Right? If I got to get checked, I get checked. Right? Everybody gets a check. Right? And I'll be better on the other side. Right? And that's how you got to imagine things. If somebody showed you something about you that's not right, and you correct it, guess what? You better on the other side. Right? That just makes you closer to your perfection. One step closer to your perfection. All right? Let's go back now to Leviticus.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Most High.
What do you mean to be a talebearer? A news carrier, right? Informer. Informer. Give me James 5 and 9. All right? So you can't be an informer. All right? You know. We got to make sure that we're not, chatting people's business unjustly.
James, what? I'm sorry.
5 and 9. Also get Sirach 19 and 8. James 5 and 9.
This is the book of James, chapter 5 and verse 9.
Come on.
Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Take my brethren, the prophets, whom have spoken in the name of the Most High, for an example in suffering, affliction, and of patience.
Oh, so that's 5 and 9?
James.
Then you wanted to keep reading and then get 5 and
Oh, sorry, I kind of jumped to 5 and 9, didn't I? All right, give me Sirach. Slaki, give me Sirach 19 and verse 8. That's a better verse.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 8. Whether it be to friend or foe,
right?
Talk not of other men's lives.
Right, speak not of other men's lives, whether it be to friend or foe. Right? Don't be revealing people's private stuff for a joke or for a good laugh. Right?
Hold on again, please.
We're at Sirach 19 and verse 8. Read that again.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 8. Whether it be friend or foe, talk not of another man's life.
Come on.
And if thou canst without offense, reveal them not.
Right. So if you're going, it's going to be offensive. If what you're speaking about your brother, you wouldn't want somebody to spread about you, then don't spread it. You know what I mean? I know it's comical sometimes, and you want to bring something out, but you got to make sure that we're not dishonoring each other by doing so. Okay? If the person is light about it, then okay, they don't mind. But if the person might have an issue with it and they may be offended by you speaking these things, don't speak it. Everybody understand that? Read.
For he heard and observed thee.
Right.
And when time cometh, he will hate thee.
He will what?
Hate thee.
You build beef like that. That's how you have beef in Israel. Right? Because now you're talking about the brother, exposing things about the brother that was private, and now he hear you talking about it, now you got an issue with you. Right? And now now he has a right to have an issue with you. So we don't want to get up in those type of environments, those type of situations. All right, let's go back to Leviticus. Go ahead.
I was going to say Proverbs 11, verse 13.
11 and 13?
Yeah.
The talebearer, the good of secrets, they can read that.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 13. A talebearer revealeth secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit concealeth the matter.
Right, so concealeth the matter. So, if something happens with a brother, it's a private situation. It's private because if you was in that situation, you would want it to be private as well. Don't reveal the brother's secrets, man. All right? The brother dealing with a matter situation, let him deal with it. It's personal. All right, everybody understand that? Let's go back to Leviticus.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
Come on.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High.
Right, so we're commanded not to hate one another. Could we hate your brother and love the Most High? What does Scripture say about that? Give me that verse.
Deuteronomy 28:54.
1 John 3 and 15.
What's that? Say it loud, say it proud.
1 John 3 and 15.
That's right, 1 John 3 and 15. All right? Yeah. Let's read it. A lot of brothers, I hate that brother.
Kahan.
The Most High is great. I love the Most High. You're like, wait a minute. That doesn't make no sense. How you hating a brother and hate this sister, hate that brother, but then you love the Most High? No, you don't. That Most High you talking about is the Most High of your own figment of your own imagination, because the God we serve say you can't do that. Let's read.
This is the first book of John, chapter 3 and verse 15.
Come on.
Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. And ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him.
All right, let's hate your brother as a murderer. That's not what I'm looking for. Somebody else give it to me. Go ahead. What is it? That sounds more like it. 4 and 20.
This is the first book of John, chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love the Most High,
right,
and hateth his brother.
There it is, right? If a man say I love the Most High and hated his brother, what is he? Read.
He is a liar.
He's a what?
A liar.
Right. So there's a lot of liars out there. And we know lying lips is an abomination. Right? If you love the Most High, you love your brother and your sister. Right? Because that's what the Father had instructed us to do. Right? Sis.
How do we compare the scripture in Ecclesiastes 18 to open rebuke?
Sirach 18.
18 and what?
The one we were just reading. Or sorry, 19.
Oh, 19.
Yeah.
Open rebuke. Right? Matter of fact, let's pull a verse. Open rebuke, right?
A lot of times when people talk about open rebuke, they do it in a format where they're just telling the whole world versus just going to that person and openly just rebuking them on the spot versus on social media where it's just out
Right.
there for everyone.
That's a misused verse. Open rebuke is not make a video about a brother or a sister. That's not open rebuke, right?
That's TMZ.
Yeah, that's you doing that for the likes, right? Not for the love, right? Open rebuke, number one, has to go directly to that person, right? Where's that? Give me that verse. Open rebuke.
Proverbs 27.
Yeah, let's get that verse.
Proverbs 27.
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
Uh-huh.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend.
Faithful are the what?
Faithful are the wounds of a friend.
Come on.
But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
So now you got to look at both of these scriptures together. Right? Open rebuke is better than secret love. So now you got someone that openly, quickly tell you, open to you, and they telling you that you're wrong. Right? Open rebuke doesn't mean that you broadcasting it to everyone. That has nothing, one has nothing to do with the other. That's like somebody just pulling a scripture and just attaching it to a behavior that's not of Yah. Because we know it couldn't possibly mean that, because he said, whether friend or foe, right, reveal not other men, speaking not other men's lives. So we know that there's no contradiction in the word of the Most High. So open rebuke means that you went straight to that person and you openly showed them that they're wrong, right? Better than is what? Better than what? Read on.
It's better than secret love.
Then you not going to that person, but wanting the person to do better, right? You want a person to do better, but you're not saying nothing to them. You know they're doing wrong, but you are in secret. You love them, but you want them to do better, but you're not saying nothing to them. So that's when you look at the both halves of the scripture, it allows us to understand more what the scripture is talking about, right? It's saying that you should be come to me and openly rebuke me, than to be secretly wanting me to do well, but you scared to speak to me. All right, let's read on.
Verse 7. The full...
No, read 6 again.
Oh, verse 6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend,
right?
But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
Right, so faithful are the wounds of a friend. When a friend does something to you and it causes a wound, right? Meaning that hurt, right? Because they told you something you didn't want to hear, right? But those wounds are faithful. Those wounds are good. Because your friend brought something to your face that's going to what? Going to correct you. And you're going to grow from that day, right? So that's a good wound to have, right? That wound inflicted on you by your friend, right? Because when you heal from that, you're good. All right, read on.
But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
But the kisses of an enemy, somebody that's not trying to help you, but they want to befriend you falsely, but allowing you to what? Go down the wrong path. All right, so that's the comparison right there. So the comparison is right there in the verses. So somebody grabbing that verse and attaching it to why they make videos on somebody, that's nonsense. That's just twisting the scripture, as we say. You know, trying to make it mean something it doesn't. Yashua?
Psalms 141 and verse 5. It gives us a little better understanding. Like the open rebuke and secret love.
All right. What do you got? Sounds familiar?
I can hear one what?
141 verse 5. Psalms 141 verse 5. I got another one too. Go ahead.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 141 and verse 5. Let the righteous man smite me. It shall be a kindness. And let him reprove me. It shall be an excellent oil.
Right. So he said, let him smite me, let him reprove me. Let me get it from my friend. You know what I mean? Let him beat me up. Right? So that I can be better. Right? It's a kindness. He said he counted it as a kindness. Thank you for correcting me. Right? Read on. Is that internet or something?
No, it's more.
Okay.
Which shall not break my head.
Right.
For yet my prayer also shall be in their calamities.
Right. So it's not going to break my head. It's not going to destroy me. Right? But my prayer will be in my calamities. Meaning what? Because if I don't get corrected, I'm going to be in my calamities. I'm going to be being jacked up by the Most High. All right? So I need that harsh correction sometimes. But better that it come from someone out of love. Everybody understand that? All right, is that on that? All right, now give me Sirach 20 and verse 1. God.
It say, for yet my prayer shall be in their calamity. So it's just saying that after you get reproved, you're going to pray for them also in their time.
Right. Your prayer will be for them in their calamities, right? You're going to be looking out for them. Right? Sirach 20 and verse 1.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and 1.
Right.
There is a reproof that is not comely.
Right, there's a reproof that's not comely. What's the word comely mean in Scripture?
Fair or beautiful.
Fair or beautiful. There's a rebuke that's not comely. There's a rebuke that you might get that it just was not nice. All right? Read on.
Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise.
Right.
It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly.
Right. It's better to reprove than to be angry secretly. Right. So that goes directly to the scripture of open rebuke and secret love. All right. It's better to reprove than to be angry secretly. Be upset, talking about the person, what they do, and you never said nothing to the person. Right. We can all be guilty of that, huh? But we gotta wisen up as the Most High come to us and say, I gotta stop doing that. If you've been doing it, and you just gotta speak to that person. All right. And then, not act like you spoke to the person and you didn't. All right? Because some people be acting like when they come at you, you think they spoke to the person. So I said, but what'd you say to them? Nothing. Why are you telling me that? You need to go tell that person first. Right? And get a reaction and then have an issue. Because you might get a reaction that's in favor. All right? So read on.
And he that confesses his fault shall be preserved from hurt.
That's it. He that professes his fault shall be preserved from hurt. So we gotta what? When things is brought to us and we see that we're wrong, confess your fault. You know what? You're right. I did that. I was wicked. I shouldn't have done it that way. Right? Now you're going to be preserved from hurt. Now the Most High might hold back that angel of vengeance that was just about to come and visit you. Right? But you repented in the nick of time. Because he was right around the corner. Right? Coming to visit you. And he sent a brother there to you or a sister to reprove you first. You took the reproof. Right? Be it that it wasn't coming, kind of came at you hard. It might have got you in your feelings a little bit. Right? But you're better for it. Read.
Verse 3. How good is it when thou art reproved to show repentance? For so shalt thou escape willful sin.
So shalt thou escape willful sin. All right? So how beautiful is it? Right? That when something is brought to your face and you're able to take it, you're able to repent, to do better. Man, that's beautiful in the sight of the Most High. Hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
He said, how beautiful is this? So we know that sometimes there's a rebuke that's not comely, but it's necessary. Right? And we should not suffer sin upon each other. All right? So let's go back to Leviticus. I think we got good understanding there. All right.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 18.
Read 17 again.
Leviticus 19 and 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Right.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
Right. So right there it's saying it again. To rebuke him is to love him. It's to not hate him. Right? To let him know if he's done wrong in the sight of the Most High. You know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing. If he received that correction, it's beautiful. Read on.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High.
Right, so no avenging. Right? Oh, that brother did that. Wait till I see him. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him back, as they say. Oh, he did that? Watch. When he come, watch. I'm going to get him. He said, we ain't supposed to be the Avengers over our brother. The Avengers is the Marvel comics, man. That's movies. Right? You girding up trying to go to avenge your brother, what a brother did. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. Okay? But we're supposed to what? Rebuke them, look for their betterment, not look for their chastisement. Okay? Read.
Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee.
Right, so you know the Most High deals with things being done straight and right. Right? He gave us 3 examples. Right? The first example is letting your animals gender with diverse kinds. Meaning that, you used to be mixing animals together. You got a liger and you like to mix animals together. You're not supposed to be that way. Right? One type of animal is supposed to be in one type of pen. Everybody understand that? Okay.
So now if they do it, I mean, obviously we know that Esau takes that breeding, to another level.
Mm-hmm.
But if the animal does that on its own in the wild, I mean.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with us.
Like say for instance what's the mule, is a crossbreed, I believe, with the horse and a donkey or something.
A mule and a horse.
Mule.
But that was something that was done to them.
So is that an abomination?
It's an abomination because that was done to them. They didn't do that on their own. A horse didn't have to be hanging out and saw a donkey and was like, right? How you doing? That didn't happen, right? Had that happened, then we got nothing to say because it was natural. But they were actually put together, like literally inseminated. Like they took the sperm from one and put it in the other and came up with this mule thing, right? So we know that that's not natural occurrence.
So we should own a mule.
A mule?
Even if it's for the service of man.
Right.
To plow or for whatever purpose. Being that it's an abomination. That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to ascertain. I get it.
Right, because in this kingdom, there's
everything is wicked. Right? Everything we own is based off of wickedness. And I was about to say that.
You can't own a dog.
Yeah.
Now, without knowing.
It's all crisscross and who knows, right? But don't own a cat dog. don't own that. Don't own that. Right? So what I'm saying is, right? There's a lot. Yeah, get rid of it. If it's a cat dog, get rid of it. Right? So.
If it's a cat that came from a dog.
Right. If there's something that's waywardly abominable, of course we're not going to deal with that. But there's certain things that we deal with on a daily basis, fabrics and clothing and, even the seats in your car, you don't know what it's made out of. We can't be over righteous in this kingdom. When the Most High puts us in a position that we do have control of these things, we will do it the right way. Right? When you start farming your own food, you know not to have your seeds mixed. If Esau is mixing seeds, what can we do? Right? We don't, especially we're unaware of it. We learning more and more about food as our kingdom is getting closer and closer to us. Right? And we start to know about all this GMO stuff, and we try to refrain from the GMO foods, but some of them we know and some of them we don't know. Some of those Esau spend billions of dollars hiding, you ain't gonna know, right? Unless the Most High open up your spirit somehow to this understanding, right? So we try our best to, understand the value in things being done holy and righteously. right? We put a value in that. So it's not that we don't care, but we just can't get overly righteous in this kingdom. We'll just, because the scriptures tell us, remember, let's get that. Be not over righteous, over much. Proverbs. Where is that? Over righteous? Ecclesiastes? That's right.
7:16. You know, righteous over much.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes, right? In the Bible.
In the Bible.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes. Yeah. 7:16. Ecclesiastes 7:16. There it is.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 16.
Yeah.
Be not righteous over much,
right?
Neither make thyself over wise,
right?
Why wouldest thou destroy thyself?
Right. Sometimes you can go too deep into stuff, right? You might analyze food so deep you won't eat nothing,
right?
Because you might just be saying, I can't eat anything. Air, oh, the air is polluted. Oh, I can't breathe. Yeah. Right? What you do? Hold your breath, right? So you gotta get to a point where you say, okay, I'm aware of certain things and I'm gonna navigate around it, but I'm not gonna go kill myself over it. You know what I mean? And you know, that goes, you know, we have to be really cautious about that because many have fallen by doing this, right? By trying to be over righteous. You know, they checking every fabric, every clothing, what this animal, everything. Come on, all right? Do things in moderation. You're gonna get there. The Most High will reveal certain things to you, things that be hurtful to you. Get it out of your system, but let's not go overboard. All right, everybody understand that? Right? Because if the air is polluted, guess what? The water is polluted. If the water is polluted, guess what? The ground is polluted, right? The whole thing, the whole earth is polluted, right? We got that understanding, so we can just try to do our best and not add things onto us that's causing more pain and problems that we don't need to go through. But we can't be extremely clean until the Most High establish His kingdom on this earth. Hallelujah. Read on.
Verse 17. Be not over much wicked.
But at the same time, don't be over much wicked, right? If there's things you can avoid them. If there's evils that you see, you know, and you notice them, make adjustments. Read on.
Neither be thou foolish.
Right.
Why shouldest thou die before thine time?
Because that's what's going to happen to you if you don't pay attention. You're going to die before your time. Everybody understand that? So if you ignore the signs, you mess yourself up. Right? If you go too far into the signs, you mess yourself up. So you got to have a balance. Right? You got to have a balance. All right? So y'all instructed us to move in that manner. All right? So just to answer the question about the mule, listen, if I had to have a mule to pull something, you get a mule and then pull it. Right? If I had a horse and a donkey, I'm not going to try to put them together and make a mule. I wouldn't do that, right? Because that's wicked. But if I have to have this mule to go do some work, like some of these, even some of this cattle that we see, it's been crossbred and all kind of different things, right? Yeah. You know, they're trying to make the meat a certain way. So they do this and they do that. You know what I mean? So we understand that they're mad scientists, you know, are messing with everything, you know, messing with nature. But that's why the Most High is going to get rid of them. Yeah, let the Most High get rid of them. But we just got to make moves and do what we got to do. Okay? So, because, you know, a lot of our cars, you know the leather in your car, a lot of your cars, it's swine. It's the skin of swine. I know that.
Look at everybody's face. I can't drive. I need some seat covers.
I had a lot of people in the same thing. Everybody give me their car like, oh, shoot, this is swine, right? It might be swine. The leather seats in your car might be swine, right? It is what it is, right? You know, We wouldn't put swine on our back, but Esau will put it on your back in a heartbeat. Okay? We can't be over much trying to control everything that we don't have control over. Okay? You know, we know not to use swine in that matter. If it's pointed out to us, we won't go that way. Right?
Just like those brushes.
Right. Right? But the brushes now, well, we're going over the brushes. Let's go over the brushes.
Yes.
You don't have to kill the animal to get the hair off the animal. So it's not the carcass of the animal. So if you use a fur that's not of a so-called clean animal, it is their fur, it is not their carcass. If we use their skin, that's a whole other ballgame. Everybody understand that? Because they can't survive without their skin. Right? They dead, and that's their carcass. But their fur can be shaved off and be used in various manners. Right? A lot of times pillows have what kind of feather in your pillows? Duck feathers, right? Can you eat duck? No. Is that their carcass? It's their feathers. Don't trip. It's in your bubble goose jacket, right? When you was back in, I was back in New York. We had them goose jackets, right? Triple fat goose. Why you call it triple fat goose? That's goose on your back, right? You're walking around with a goose on you, right? What are you going to do? Now you're going to be cold because I can't wear the goose? And you be that shivering? Listen. It is their feathers. It is not their skin. We wouldn't wear a mink because that's his skin with his fur, right? So we wouldn't wear a mink. We wouldn't wear a chinchilla, right? Because that's his skin and his fur, right? But if they just shaved it and used their hairs, that is not a big deal. Everybody understand that? All right, it's clear? Go ahead.
Now we did use when we set up the tabernacle, we did use the skins of some of the badgers.
That's not the badger that you're thinking. It's a totally different animal. Totally different animal. You gotta go into the Hebrew. It's a totally different animal. So, I know some of y'all were tripping. Damn, we using badger skins? No. Not a badger like you see on TV. Right?
But it still was animal skin.
It was animal skin, but you can use skins.
Okay, just not
clean animal skins. You can use clean animal skins, right? For anything that we need to use a clean animal skin for.
John the Baptist had a...
It's an antelope. Yeah, it's a different. It's like of the family of a goat, the badger, in that reference. All right, so.
Look up the Hebrew, it tells you clean animal, species of antelope.
Right. So that's not that kind of badger.
wore goat skin, right? As a garment. John the Baptist.
No, he wore camel hair.
Camel hair.
See, that's a good example, right? John the Baptist wore camel hair. He didn't wear the skin of the camel because that would have been an abomination. But the hairs of the camel is no big deal. It's his hair. You shave the hair off, he grow the hair back. Right? Everybody understand that? So you understand the difference.
Even with Jacob and Esau, when they took the hair and put it on Jacob's
That was a goat hair, though.
I mean, goat hair.
It was a clean animal.
Throw it in the bed. That's what I'm saying. It's a clean animal, so they're not going off.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right. He's alive. Remember, the animal is clean or unclean in its dead state, not when it's alive. Okay? When it's alive, it's fair game. Right? But you have to kill an animal, now it's an unclean piece. Okay? Everybody understand that? All right. We gotta understand this law. It's glad it came up, though, because a lot of y'all thought it was like little badgers. And they tied their skins together. No. It was, a badger in this society is like a rodent, right? What they call a badger in this world. It's like a little rodent. How are you gonna get? How many rodents did it take to make this the top of this tabernacle?
Ain't gonna be no more groundhog day.
You know what I'm saying? No more groundhog day. No, this was a big antelope type beast that was called a badger. Right? Had the same name. All right. Let's read on.
Going back to
Leviticus, yeah, we gotta get through Leviticus. We got another chapter to do, so we have to start moving.
19?
Yeah.
Leviticus chapter 19 and 19. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woolen come upon thee. And whosoever lieth carnally with a woman that is a bondmaid, betrothed to an husband, and not at all redeemed, for freedom given her, she shall be scourged. They shall not be put to death because she was not free.
Right, so when you're a bondwoman and a man lay with you carnally, meaning that without a marriage, right, she shall be scourged and he shall be punished, but she will not be put to death because it's not adultery. All right, go ahead. Meaning she's a servant woman. All right, she's not a free woman. Meaning that she was sold into some sort of servitude. Okay, so it's different when you're in servitude than when you're free. Okay, read.
Verse 21. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto the Most High, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, even a ram for a trespass offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him with the ram of the trespass offering before the Most High.
Right, so he did wickedly. He need to go get a trespass offering because he did trespass by laying with the woman, but he won't be killed because she was not another man's wife. She wasn't a free man's wife or a free man's betrothed woman. Because if a woman is betrothed to a man, you're supposed to deal with that woman as if she was married. Everybody understand that? The same rules apply to a married woman that apply to a betrothed woman. A betrothed woman is a woman that's like engaged or promised. You're supposed to deal with her as if she has a husband. But if she's a bond woman and she's betrothed, and you lay with her, then you'll be punished, but you won't be killed. All right, read on.
For his sin which he hath done, and the sin which he hath done shall be forgiven.
Right.
And when ye shall come into the land, and shall have planted all manner of trees for food, then ye shall count the fruit thereof as uncircumcised. 3 years it shall be as uncircumcised unto you. It shall not be eaten of. But in the 4th year, all the fruit thereof shall be holy to praise the Most High withal.
Right, because the heathen were in the land doing all their abominations, so the land itself was considered unclean. Everybody understand that? So we went into the land. He said, man, let the fruit grow, but leave it, let it fall, let it grow, let it fall for 3 years, and then start to then start to reap of that land, because that whole place is abominable. Right? They were doing all kind of stuff in the fields, who knows? So he said they had to go through a cleansing time, which is a space of 3 years. Read.
And in the 5th year ye shall eat of the fruit thereof,
right?
That it may yield unto you the increase thereof. I am the Most High your power.
So now when it says the fruit thereof, I want you to understand something. If we came into the land and we planted something, that's ours, right? He's referring to the fruits and the stuff that was in the land, already growing, planted there. Everybody understand that? That's the one we couldn't touch, right? So if you brought something and you planted it, so that's yours. But if you came in there and there was a whole vineyard and you want to start picking grapes and making wine, he said, no. Leave that for 3 years, let all the wickedness purge out of it, and then you can receive of it. All right, so just keep that in mind that there's a period in time that things needed to cleanse by you not touching it and let it cleanse out. All right, let's read.
Ye shall not eat anything with the blood, neither shall ye use enchantment nor observe times.
Right, what does it mean use enchantment or observe time? What does that mean? Witchcraft. Call me now. The psychic network. Right? Astrology, the horoscope, right? That's why they call it the horoscope, because it's horrible, right? So don't mess with any of those things. All right, read on.
Verse 27. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads,
right?
Neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard,
right?
Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Most High.
Right, so you should not round the corners of thy head. I mean, that you ain't supposed to be taking the razor and cutting all the hair off your head. Okay? You should not round the corners of your head, nor what? Mar the corners of your beard, cutting your beard off. All right? So that's not something we're supposed to be doing. All right? And the Most High gave you a hairline or the case may be, you can neaten it up and get it looking right, but don't cut it off. Everybody understand that? Let's read.
Do not prostitute thy daughter,
right,
to cause her to be a whore.
Come on.
Lest the land fall to whoredom,
right,
and the land become full of wickedness.
Right, no pimping in Israel. All right? No pimping in Israel. All right? Don't be prostituting thy daughter to become a whore. All right? Because a lot of times our daughters was considered like almost like merchandise, value. Somebody would want your daughter. So then you went and gave your daughter to somebody. Why? Because they was rich. How people do it today, right? A lot of mothers say, you need to get yourself a rich man so he can take care of you and take care of me too, right? So, she gonna get part of that, right? A lot of them young girls that R. Kelly was there getting all chastised about, their parents sent them children up to be with that man. They didn't know he was an old man, but they were starstruck. They was money struck. And they let their daughters go be with that man. He didn't sneak and get with the daughter. A lot of times, their parents sign their child over to that old man, right? So they should be ashamed of themselves, right? But now they want to turn it on the man. They say, I ain't saying he ain't right either, but a lot of them parents need to be held accountable for their daughters dealing with that man because it was not a secret. Everybody understand that? And that happens all over the earth. That happens all over the earth, right? Huh? What's that?
Marlon, people go Marlon and send their kids off. These people, they get abused and sexually assaulted, all that stuff.
Exactly. You send their children off getting assaulted, all kinds of things happen to their children. Why? Because of the money, the fame.
It's the Neverland.
The Neverland Ranch?
Yeah.
We talking about Michael Jackson. He ain't do it. Or Bill Cosby house, right? All right, let's read.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 20. No, 30. Salakia. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Most High.
Come on.
Regard not them that have familiar spirits.
Right.
Neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them.
Right.
I am the Most High, your power.
Right. So don't be looking up Harry Potter in his number and call him up. All right. So anybody dealing with wizards, dealing with witchcraft, stay far from that person. All right? Stay far. You see them tarot readers, hand palm readers, tarot card, this and that, Ouija boards. A lot of y'all went to this college, those colleges full of that madness. All right? You be careful on them sororities and fraternities. They're dealing with a lot of skull and bones and weird stuff in it. Keep your space. Secret societies. All right?
Those Ouija boards is like a regular board game.
And that was a board game, right?
Yeah.
Listen, leave that stuff alone. Okay? Right next to Scrabble is a Ouija board. Should I get this Scrabble or this Ouija board? Right? Come on, that's wicked enough. Right? Monopoly or Ouija? Right? No. Leave the Ouija boards alone. All right, let's read.
Verse 32.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head,
right,
and honor the face of the old man,
right,
and fear thy God. I am the Most High.
Right. So out of honor and respect, our hoary heads that's in the room, those that got the grades going, right? We rise up before them, meaning that we show them respect, right? If you see a man with a hoary head, you go look and try to do for that person. You honor that person. Why? Because they lived a long life, right? Yah has blessed them with many days upon this earth, and this is why they have a hoary head. Right? If you have a hoary head, don't go get Just for Men and try to comb your hoary head out. Right? Wear your hoary head. Right? If you got grades, wear your grades. All right? Because you earned them. Right? You grew, and that's part of who you are. Right? It's part of who you are. Okay? Some people get it young. You know what I mean? It happens. Right? But if you did your days, you 50 plus, right? Or I'm not even 50, and I got a bunch of grades, right? But if you're 50 plus and you got your grades, keep it going, man. Right? You're an elder, according to our word, and we will respect you as such. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Let's read.
And if a stranger sojourn with thee in your land, ye shall not vex him.
You shall not what?
Not vex him.
Right. So when we in our land and we got charge and power over the land, and we got the rules, we sitting on the rules, and you got a stranger in the land, don't vex the stranger. Right? Don't pick on him because he's not Israelite. All right? Because y'all get power in your hand, you're going to be kicking these nations in the behind for no reason. Don't do that. Don't be a menace. All right? Because we are set. The Most High set us on this earth to be the priests of this earth. We're going to set this whole earth in order. All these nations are going to have to serve the Most High. Everybody understand that? So we have to be a representation of the Heavenly Father. When you're set in a position of order and power, it's not to try to bring your own personal chastisement on these nations. Right? They're going to get this. Right? But it's for us to rule in righteousness. Everybody understand that? Some of you are business owners. Some of you have companies going, and you may have Gentiles working for you. Right? You know, it's not an opportunity for you to, not get on their paycheck, right? And do things to them to try to, nit at them. That's not what the Father wants us to do. All right? The scriptures say the wrath of man does not work the will of the Most High. All right? So we know that is not our position. Our position is to deal with these nations accordingly. Where we are in a position of power, we're going to show them how to do things the right way. Everybody understand that? Okay. Read.
But the stranger that dwelleth with you shall be unto you as one born among you, and thou shalt love him as thyself. For ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. I am the Most High your power.
Right. So when we came into Egypt originally, they showed us love, and we benefit from it. Come right or wrong. You know the history. We came into Egypt. We didn't come in as bondmen. That's the thing that happened we've been in Egypt before that Ramesses rose up and started to put us in captivity. We dwelt in the land of Goshen. The Egyptians dealt with us fairly. Why? Because they revered Joseph, right? They respected Jacob and Joseph and all his family, right? So when we have time, we're in power, we have to remember that as well. Everybody understand that? Let's read.
Verse 35. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment,
right?
In meter yard, in weight, or in measure.
Right, in meter yard, weight, or measure. So what? If it's a pound, it's a pound. Don't try to trick the scale. All right, don't try to be a trickster, a slickster. Right, and you got a little magnet under the scale, making things heavier than they're supposed to be. All right, Most High see you. All right, let's read.
Just balance, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin.
Right, just means right. Right? So just means right. A right weight. If this is how much it is, this is how much it is. This is how much you're selling for, this is what you're selling for. All right? Don't be a trickster or a slickster trying to get an extra dollar out of somebody.
Change the mile meter on the car.
You know what I'm saying? You rolling back the odometer on the car. You know what I mean? Trying to get somebody to sell a car for more than it's worth. That is unjust and unrighteous. You had a question? Comment?
Wouldn't that come to the same like you was taking the temperature of food, right? You're supposed to write down the temperature of food. It's supposed to be at a certain temperature, right? Food is supposed to be 34 degrees to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. And you take the temperature of food and it says 42 degrees or 42.5 degrees. You don't write 41 just so you don't have to. I mean, you know what I'm saying though?
Right. Because you could cause somebody to get sick, in other words, right? If you do that, right? So if things supposed to be a certain way, we got to do stuff the right way, right? We got to put that burdens on us to be righteous in all our actions, to be truthful in our actions, right? Yes, there's times when we have to fudge the numbers when we dealing with the heathen, but when we in control of the matter, when we on top, see, it's a different operation when you're on top, man. When you're on top and you're in control of the matter, you need to move in a certain spirit, right? When Esau's over your back, and sometimes you just got to make it through, right? You got to make it through the day sometimes. You might have to do some things to underhand and get through the day. But when you're in control, you got to be righteous. Everybody understand that? Read on.
Shall ye have, I am the Most High your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them. I am the Most High.
Let's go.
Leviticus chapter 20. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones.
Right, so when we rule, the nations, they can't be wicked amongst us. They can't serve other gods. They can't have other religions when they're in our land. Everybody understand that? Moab can't be praising Buddha in our land. Right? He'd be put to death. So when we are in rulership, they have to live according to our customs. They have to serve the God of Israel. Right? And you might notice that a lot of these nations, they start to speak of the God of Israel. And they recognize the God of Israel as the one and true God. Right? So, and this is going to be, that's a little preview of their future. That all the nations shall praise the God of Israel. That's right? But they'll know that we're his children. Right? Not because you praise the God of Israel mean you Israel. Everybody understand that? That don't make you Israel. That makes you just wise to praise the God of Israel. All right? Let's go.
Verse 3, and I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given of his seed unto Molech, to defile thy sanctuary, and to profane my holy name.
Right.
And if the people of the land do any ways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth of his seed unto Molech, and kill him not, then I will set my face against that man, and against his family, and I will cut him off, and all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom with Molech from among their people.
Right, so what? Not only are they going to be responsible, but if we see somebody going off and we don't say anything, that responsibility going to fall on us too. Right? So we need to check that man. Right? Go ahead. Go ahead. Pass through the fire of Molech is a ritual that they did, that the Hamites did, the Canaanites. They had a god called Molech that they worshipped. And passing through the fire was a ritual that they did. So he's saying we catch up any of our people, or even any of them that's in the midst of us when we're ruling, when we're setting the order, and they want to bring up Molech or pass their children through the fire of Molech, we're supposed to deal with them on the spot. Because we cannot approve of any kind of demonic worship under our rulership, right? So, like, say you have your household, you got your house, right? You might have people living in your house. They can't be worshiping gods in your house. They got to get out your house. You know what I mean? Because that's your house. You see what I'm saying? So that's the best example you can use and understand. Once the Most High put us back in rulership, that means the earth becomes our house. And it's going to be governed the way we want things to go. And we're going to do things according to what Yah told us. And anybody that come out of that is going to get dealt with. Right? To be put off the earth, there's only one way to get put off the earth. Right? And that's in a body bag. Right? Because we ain't going to shoot you in a rocket ship to Mars. Because then you're going to defile Mars. Right? So the only way to be put on this earth is in the spirit, to lose your flesh. All right, so understand, the Most High said, any one of them nations is going off with this Molech, with their God, then we supposed to deal with them. And we hide our eyes from them, then it's on us too. All right, read.
Verse 6, and the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards to go a-whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul.
Right.
And will cut him off from among his people.
Right, so now you keep mentioning wizards, right, and witches. That's what this Molech thing is about. It's about witchistry, it's about witchcraft. All right, because I know in some twisted breakdowns, I hear that the shield of David is the star of Molech. That's nonsense. All right, that's not taught here, that's foolishness. There's no scripture, there's no evidence of that whatsoever, except for people's injection. All right? The shield of David is exactly that. The shield of David is also the crest of Solomon. Right? It is not the star of Molech. Everybody understand that? The star of Molech is in the sky. They choose a star and they worship a star. Right? That's in the sky. That's where the star of Molech is. It's not around your neck. All right? To have your children pass through the fire of Molech is to pray onto that star, and they had a ritual where they would have like a fire, they have a raging fire, and they would toss the child through the fire, and somebody would catch them, right? And if they toss the child through the fire, and she don't make it, I guess she was wicked, right? But if she make it, then they say Molech has granted her life, right? Even to this day, the Hindus do a very similar ritual where they throw the child off the cliff, and then the people catch the child that's over the other side of the cliff. If they don't catch the child, she wasn't supposed to be. All right? Hey, it is what it is, right? So that is a process that they do to this day. They have these rituals where they fling the child, right? And you got to catch the child. When you see it not being done, that is the root of that is the worshiping of Molech. All right? So you can do your own research. You can look around the earth. And the way you see that done is the root of that action is how they used to worship or pass their children through the fire of Molech by tossing the child and catching the child. Okay? Some off a cliff, some on fire, hot coals, all kind of madness, right? They have different ways of performing this ritual. All right, let's read.
Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 7. Sanctify yourselves therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Most High your power. And ye shall keep my statutes and do them. I am the Most High which sanctify you.
Right, to be sanctified means to be what? Made holy, separated to holiness. So we got to be separate. We got to be sanctified. Don't do what they do. All right? We don't do what these nations do. We stay sanctified. Come on.
For everyone that curseth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death.
Shall be what?
Surely put to death.
Right. So, okay, you got an example. Him dropping the baby off the cliff. So y'all know I ain't making it up. All right? So there he goes. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So there you go. He or she about to get let go. Hopefully she get caught. If not, she didn't make it. Molech didn't, or Krishna didn't approve her to be alive. All right? Let's read.
Verse 9. For everyone that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He hath cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him.
Right, so you curse your father and your mother, that's a death sentence in the sight of the Most High. Everybody understand that? So if you curse your mother in the past or your father in the past, don't let it happen again. Right? Don't let it happen again. I don't care how upset you are. I don't care if they provoked you to anger. You cannot curse them. Right? So let's not curse our parents. Hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
Let's read.
And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Right, so adultery is a two-way street. If the adultery happens, the man and the woman is guilty of adultery. Everybody understand that? In righteous judgment, there's no way that one should be brought guilty of adultery and the other one is not there. All right? So then we read about that in Mashiach, where the woman was found in adultery and was brought to be judged of the Messiah. That was an unrighteous situation. And he cut that spirit right at the point. Listen, where's, first of all, she couldn't be brought to him by herself because the adulterer and the adulteress. All right, so she was committing adultery. Where's the man that was laying with her? Okay, so we know that was an unjust matter from the door. But Yahushua, went and told her sin no more because that was an unjust court that they were trying to trial her in. All right, we're not going to go there for lack of time. We're going to read on. All right.
Verse 11. And the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Come on.
And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion with their blood. Their blood shall be upon them.
Right, so remember we talked about in-laws are off limits? In-laws are off limits. Read on.
If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman,
come on,
both of them have committed an abomination.
Right.
They shall surely be put to death.
Right, no chichiman. Khan?
Khan.
Right, no boogerism. All right. whatever word they have for it. There's a lot of different words, right? But the Most High says no homosexuality. He said, "Surely we put to death." Come on.
Their blood shall be upon them.
Read on.
14. And if a man take a wife and her mother.
And her what?
And her mother.
You take a woman and then you start looking at her mother, talking about she look good too. Read on.
It is wickedness.
That's wickedness. It's wickedness in your eyes. All right? Correct yourself. All right? Read on.
They shall be burnt with fire.
They shall be what?
Burnt with fire.
That's a rough way to die. To be burned with fire. All right? So
you don't even get the stones.
Don't even get the stones at that point. They want to see you, French fry. All right? So don't look at a man. Don't look at a woman and her mother. Okay? Either you dealing with that woman or you dealing with the mother. Sometimes, like I said before, they have situations where mothers and daughters are so close in age that they are looking at the same pool of men, age bracket wise. Because they but 15, 14 years between them two. Right? So that means 7 years split. Okay? So when you look at it, it's only a 7-year split. So if you are let's look at an age bracket. If you're 35 and your mother is what? 50, right? And a 42-year-old come around, y'all both might be looking at this man, right? That's an abomination, right? He's not to be looking at both of y'all. You need to deal with one of y'all and not the other one. Everybody understand that? All right, let's read.
Both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you.
Right, so he and they will be burnt with fire. So if you dealt with the mother and the daughter, say they was down with it, right? You and them shall be burnt with fire. Okay, read.
And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death.
Mm-hmm.
He shall slay, and ye shall slay the beast.
Yeah, that beast is off too. I know they had nothing to do with this. I know they're claiming their innocence, but I was just a sheep, just minding my sheep business. Right? Here comes this fool here with his wickedness, but the sheep got to go too. Because who wants that sheep? I don't want that sheep.
No.
You know what I mean? All right. It just ain't right. They got to go. Right? The sheep got to go too. All right? Read on.
Verse 16. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman,
right,
and the beast.
And the beast, right? And get rid of the jar of peanut butter, right? Read on.
They shall surely be put to death.
They shall be put to death, right? So no bestiality. All right? Let's read on.
Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness,
right?
It is a wicked thing.
And let me explain something about the seeing your nakedness, because we live in a day and age where there's a lot of sexting going on, right? What's sexting? It's cyber fornication, for lack of a better word, over the internet, over the sending each other messages and all kinds of stuff. Show me mine, I'll show you. You show me yours, I'll show you mine type foolishness, right? That's wickedness. You're not supposed to see the woman nakedness until you marry the woman. Everybody understand that? Do not undress the woman, or let no man undress you, women, right? Or men showing or sending pictures of your business to the woman, right? If that's not your wife. Everybody understand that? You shouldn't be doing that, period. Wife or not, because everything that goes into the cloud stays in the cloud, right? So don't think that's private. There's nothing private that goes through a phone, right? That phone goes to a network, that goes to a server, to another network, and then back to the other phone. That means there's a lot of places for that information to be dropped off. Everybody understand that? So let's use wisdom. But say you have a lack of judgment and wisdom in your head, and you wish to have your nakedness sent from one person to another, right? At least let the person be your husband or your wife. All right? Because now you have seen this woman's privacy, as my son would call it, privacy, right? Right? And you're not supposed to see their privacy. Right? So that's Noah, not Malachi. right? Let's clarify that out, right? You're not supposed to see the privacy, right? So there should be no such thing in Israel. I had to understand, but that's my wife over Facebook. How's that possible? What did you do to become husband and wife over Facebook? Right?
We have solidified that we're married on there.
Yeah. Right? So, no cyber
in a relationship.
Relationships. There's a series on Netflix called The Black Mirror.
Oh man.
Okay.
That is some crazy.
That's some wickedness. But that's where it's going. That's where it's going. Right? That people will use the network or the interaction between each other over these airways through this 5G. I don't know what if 5G will take it to the next level, right? But 4G is wicked enough, right? And they're actually experiencing some sort of intercourse over the airwaves, right? That's wickedness. Don't get yourself involved in that, okay? Don't think that, okay, well, it's just my eyes. I heard a brother say that, well, I ain't touching, it was just my eyes, right? No, that's wickedness, all right? Pornography comes from a Greek word. It's called porneus. Porneus is a Greek god, a god of guess what? Fornication. What else would it be, right? So when you deal with pornography, you're dealing with that Greek god of porneus, the god of fornication. So when you think you don't deal with other gods, if you deal with pornography, you're dealing with another god. Everybody understand this? All right? You're paying homage to another god other than the Most High God. All right? So we're not to deal with pornography. Don't make pornography out of yourself. Right? Don't be sending pictures and things of yourself to people, you know what I mean, and having these type of conversations. These things done in the world. All right? But if we get wise to this word, we know not to be conducting ourselves in this manner. Okay? So as Hebrews, as sanctified ones, set apart, severed from these nations, we should not be doing the things they do. Who was it? Brett Favre? Was it? Was got caught selling his business to some woman? It was Brett Favre, right? Roethlisberger? It was one of them big football, one of them popular football players. It was Favre, right? Yeah, I know it was Favre, right? Selling his business to some woman, right?
Oh, in the building. Yeah, the reporter.
The reporter or something like that, right?
Spread the news.
Spread the news, right? That's wickedness. All right? Keep your business off the net. Everybody understand that? All right. Y'all say come. All right? Keep your business off the net. Your privacy, keep your privacy private. All right? All right. Let's read on.
I'm going to start at the top of 17 again.
Come.
Leviticus chapter 20 and 17. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing. And they shall be cut off in the sight of their people.
Right.
He hath uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity. And if a man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness.
That's talking about her cycle. Having her sickness is talking about her cycle. Read on.
He hath discovered her fountain,
right?
And she hath uncovered them the fountain of her blood.
Right. So scriptures use the word fountain to refer to a woman's.
It's a lot of blood.
Well, not always mentioned. It's referring to a woman's genitalia as a fountain. Because you see the other scriptures, they use the word fountain, right? For that as a metaphor, right? So if she uncovers her mountain, that means the woman is doing this thing. She wants to do this thing. She's uncovering her fountain, and her fountain is bloody, right? Read on.
And both of them shall be cut off from among their people.
Most High is going to punish both of y'all. All right? So that's wickedness as well. All right, come on.
And thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister,
Mhm.
nor of thy father's sister, for he uncovered his near kin.
That's your auntie. Come on.
They shall bear their iniquity.
Read.
And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. And if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He hath uncovered his brother's nakedness. They
Right.
shall be childless.
Right.
22. Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments, and do them, that the land, whether I bring you to dwell therein, spew you not out. Ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them.
Right, he abhors them. The Most High hates these nations. Right, he hates their actions. He hates their customs. He said he abhors them. Abhor them is a strong hatred. The Most High has a strong hatred against all these nations and their customs. So we got to make sure that we're not following any of their customs. Everybody understand that?
All right.
Let's read.
Verse 24. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land.
Right, we're going to take their land. Come on.
And I will give it unto you to possess it.
Right.
A land that floweth with milk and honey.
Come on.
I am the Most High your power, which have separated you from the other people.
Right, he separated you from the other people. He Most High is not about integration. He's about segregation. Everybody understand that? Let's read.
Ye shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean.
Right.
And between unclean fowls and clean.
Right.
And ye shall not make your own abominable
Make your,
by beasts.
Read that again.
You
shall not make your
and
souls.
ye shall not make your souls abominable by beasts.
So when people say it doesn't matter what goes in your mouth, is that true? It does matter, right? Because it says you eat these unclean fowls, it's going to make your soul abominable. So he said don't eat it and don't make your soul, your life, abominable. All right, so we know not to eat of unclean fowls or unclean fowls. You know, we're not going to be eating no bats, right? Right? That's a lot of you hear about people eating bats a lot in the media nowadays, right? We don't know if this thing come from no bats. I doubt it very much, but it's probably from a laboratory or who knows, man. There's so much going on with him. Who knows? Or Moab, they just so wicked. But he said that we know it comes from their abominations. That we can bet that some sort of abomination brought this thing about. And that's what abominations bring. It brings death. Okay, let's read.
Or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground,
right,
which I have separated from you as unclean.
Right, so anything the Most High said is unclean, do not make your soul abominable with these things. Read.
And ye shall be holy unto me.
Right.
For I am the Most High. For I, the Most High, am holy.
Come on.
And have severed you from other people.
Right.
That ye should be mine.
Right. So he had cut us off from being amongst other nations, that we can be his. So we know that we cannot bring the other nations with us. Everybody understand that? Don't try to bring nations with you. Right? The Most High severed you so you can be his. He cut you off from the other nations so you can bless him. How are you then going to come grab the other nation and bring it with you? Right? That's backwards. You're not thinking straight. Right? The whole point of our salvation is to separate us from the other nations. That's the whole point of it. Right? So that's what he did in the time of Egypt, and that's what he's going to do when we come out of this captivity. Everybody understand that?
Right.
He's going to sever us, separate us. All right? So we can't take them with us where we go. All right? So any doctrine that says you bringing the other nations with you is nonsense. All right? It's nonsense. What you're going to learn here is sound doctrine. You're not going to hear nothing that is twisted, and you're not going to twist no scripture and make it mean something that it doesn't mean. Right? Straightforward understand. Straightforward instruction. All right? Read on.
Verse 27. A man also, or a woman that have a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death.
Come on.
They shall stone them with stones. Their blood shall be upon them.
All right, so that concludes the portion for the Shabbat day. Let's get a Most High hand. Hallelujah. There's a lot of ground to cover, a lot of scriptures. You know, these portions is one of the longer portions, but you know, there's a lot of information came out. Hopefully, we use this information in our lives. We apply it to our walk. We apply it to our relationships on this earth. Okay, Most High is watching us. Khan? He said his eyes is 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men. So we know he's watching us, and we're going to work and do his will and shine in his sight. At this time, if there's nothing else that we need to address, we'll send up the praise. Is there anything that we need to address?
The town hall, I don't know if you want to remind us about the town hall.
Right. After the prayer and the praise, we have a town hall meeting that we would like everyone to participate. So we're just going to send up the prayer. We're going to do a short praise, and then we're going to go right into the town hall because we want everybody to participate in the town hall. Everybody understand that? All right, and to let us know how we're doing. Even our brothers and sisters online, don't cut off the online, keep it on, because they need to participate in the town hall as well. All right, go ahead.
You want to answer 2 questions from that?
There's questions on the line? What you got?
Sister Moriah Israel said, could you bring clarity to Numbers 16 and 40, chapter 16, verse 40?
Did we go over Numbers 16 and 40? No. All right, and what else?
And then Nia Young says, Esau says it's beneficial for a woman to eat the placenta from after birth.
Oh, jeez. Don't trust your enemy.
All right.
That's how I feel. Don't trust that enemy. Don't eat the placenta. That's wickedness.
You say number 16?
And
verse 40.
To eat the placenta means you're eating a part of a person. And people are not on our diet. It's against the dietary law. Eat people. Numbers 16 and what?
Verse 40.
Read that.
Numbers chapter 16, Shema Yasharallah.
Shema, let me answer this question. We had a question online asked about Numbers 60 and verse 40. So let's read it real quick.
Numbers chapter 16 and verse 40. To be a memorial unto the children of Israel, that no stranger which is not of the seed of Aaron come near to offer incense before the Most High, that he be not as Torah and as his company, as the Most High said to him by the hand of Moses.
Right, to offer incense is the duties of the Levitical family of Aharon. Only the Levitical family of Aharon was able to offer incense in the tabernacle unto the Most High. So that is solely and only their position. All Israel cannot do this. Definitely the nations can't do this. So, just to bring clarity to that scripture, only to offer incense means that you're in the priesthood. That means you're up on the Holy of Holies, putting the incense in the holy vessels. No one else was allowed to touch the holy vessels but Aharon and his offspring. Okay? Only them could touch the holy vessels. And the family that was given to put the holy vessels away, which I believe is the Gershonite, was the ones that would put away the vessels. Only Gershonites and the children of Aaron was able to touch the holy vessels. All right? Memri and Koath, they dealt with the tents and the different structures of the tabernacle. They're the only ones that was able to touch those things, right?
So that's tabernacle.
Right.
What about at home?
At home, our vessels, as much as we would like to call them holy, they're not on the level with these vessels here. And they're our vessels that we give to the Most High. So you're in control of those things, right? So the sons, the father and sons would deal with the vessels in the matter of the home. Certain instances you would even have the daughters if you don't have sons, right? Deal with those vessels. But mainly that's in your household. The incense that goes up in your household is you blessing your house. This is talking about a specific instruction that was given that was to these Aaron and his sons. Authorized to do this particular work. So that scripture is very focused and specific. It's not for us to carry on. You know what I mean? That was for them at that time in the tabernacle, right? To do this work. All right. So yes, we can offer incense. You know, we can light incense as we pray to the Most High, to get the Spirit of the Most High, to call for His Spirit to be nigh unto us. We know it's a sweet Savior unto the Heavenly Father. But this instance in 40 of Numbers is only dealing with Aaron and his sons. All right. Any other thing that we need to address before we send the prayers? All right. So, say, Admadia Wapanya Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. All praises be to Power, Aim, Isaac, and Jacob for His mercy truly endure forever. We thank Thee, how for giving us this Shabbat day. We thank You, how for all the souls that's in this room. We thank You, how for remembering the covenant that was made with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and remembering to have us face the east and worship Thee towards our land. Heavenly Father, we thank Thee for all the souls. We thank Thee for all the schools. We thank Thee for all the Akim wa Akwatim that acknowledge Thy word in these last days. For we know that the rising of Israel is the fall of this kingdom. So allow our children to hear Thy word, O Yahweh. Allow our people to rise up in these last days in righteousness, and let them repent and come in quickly. For the reviving of Yasharallah is the destruction of our enemies. So continue to wake up, Yasharallah. Bless all those that have not heard Thy word yet, that they hear Thy word by the mouth of Thy prophets, and they come in quickly and repent quickly and do right in Thy sight, and bring forth our kingdom upon this earth, that we might bless Thee and sing upon our beds that is written in Thy word, and praise Thy name day in, day out, and set this earth in order. All this we pray as our earnest desire, O Yahweh. But Yahweh, we ask for You to forgive us for our sins, blot out our iniquity, guide us in these last days, O Yahweh. Guide us back to Thy loving kindness. Let us be righteous one to another. Let us bless one another. Let us shine in Thy sight, O Yahweh, upon this earth, through Thy will and through Thy word. Heavenly Father, be merciful unto Thy little sanctuary, the light of Zion, and all Thy little sanctuaries, all those that sincerely turn to Thee. Bless all those that are in need of healing. Bless their families. Right? Bless our brother Paulo Puwas, right, in his time of his infirmities. Bless our sister Kitsa Para and sister Hanakah, and all our sisters that may need You, and brothers that may need Your loving kindness and Your healing to come into their lives. Make them whole and return to them unto us strong as ever before. All this we ask in the name of Thy Son, Hamashiach Yahushua, Let all that have breath praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Let all that have breath praise Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
By Hashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai, the water of Yad, Aman.
Amen.
Get the Most High hand. Hallelujah. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. Hallelujah, hallelujah. From the top, let's go. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. In the mouth of babes, Yahweh perfected praise. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Glory, glory, glory. Let's go. Glory, glory, hallelujah, hallelujah, Yahweh shall to be our ruler. Our enemies shall fall right before our feet. Father, sing no more tears. Glory, glory, hallelujah, hallelujah, Yahweh shall to be our ruler. Our enemies shall fall right before our feet. Father, sing no more tears. Hold on, let's go. Father, sing no more tears. Father, sing no more tears. Father, sing no more tears. Real. Yahweh shall live to me. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Gives me the victory. Many people down, but I can't live without it. That is why I'm good. Yahweh shall. On the top, let's go. Real. Yahweh shall live to me. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Gives me the victory. Many people down, but I can't live without it. Praise his name. Hallelujah. 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 Praise his name. Hallelujah. Praise his name. Hallelujah. All praises. Get that council, the town hall meeting going. All praises be to the Most High, for his name is worthy to be praised. Hallelujah. 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 All right, all praises. So I'd ask the Akiwa Guathium to Yeshavium, please be seated. And we're going to go into the town hall meeting. Brothers and sisters online, we'd like you to chime in if you have questions and things that you would like for us to be aware of. Just write it in the chat, and we'll have someone monitor it and address it. All right, town hall meeting of the Light of Zion, the nation of Israel. All right, so Light of Zion, as a sanctuary and as a resource to the children of Israel. You know, we have our location down here, and we also have a location in Vero Beach, where brothers we have set up that deliver the word weekly in Vero Beach. Those of you that may have family in that area, be aware that we have that resource in Vero Beach, as well as we are expanding. Some changes have been made. Wednesday Wisdom, as most of you know, was mostly conducted by myself, but now Captain Shamshuan has taken over Wednesday Wisdom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Right, and he's going to grow it into a glorious class. Stay tuned to, we're going to expand some more classes here at the Light of Zion. But he's taking over Wednesday Wisdom. So I'll be aware of that. As you know, we have classes Wednesday through Saturday as of late, and we're looking to grow. We're looking for, the Light of Zion to be open, 7 days a week. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You know what I mean? And, that's the aspiration of the eldership here at the Light of Zion, that we are a resource. Just like in the time of old, the tabernacle didn't close. You never went to the tabernacle and it was closed for the day. It took the day off. Levi's took the day off. It didn't take the day off. The tabernacle was always, the fire was always lit. All right, so we, in like manner, are looking to expand and grow. I mean, we have some things going on Sundays. They're on and off until we can get it established to be every Sunday. You know what I mean? We'd like that to be established, with the sisterhood and the cooking and the sewing and all the stuff that's going on with the sisterhood. We can establish that to be every Sunday. It would be beautiful. But it takes hands to have these things happen. It takes hands, it takes effort, it takes discipline, it takes sacrifice. All right, that's how we're able to do what we do. With effort, discipline, and sacrifice. All right, so anybody, that's just some things that I, wanted to put out as from the eldership of the Light of Zion. Now we would like to hear from all of you. All right, unless any elder has anything else they want to put forth. No, all right, go ahead. You. We'll take everybody's inquiries and stuff after the eldership.
All right, again, Shabbat Shalom. We are starting also a food drive. So we're asking everyone to bring in, canned goods and things that is going to last a good while. We just getting prepared, just in case for the worst. Something happened, and we gather together. At least we can be able to, feed each other. Just like when Joseph, when he was in Egypt, and he told him, the Pharaoh, right, he told him there was going to be a famine coming. It's going to be about 7 years, but we stacked up the food and we was prepared. So the famine is out there now. If you notice, COVID-19 is one of the plagues that's going around. So we asking everyone to, to donate, what you have, what the Most High has blessed you. Kahan? All right. Dry, yeah, that's what I said. Dry, dry goods like spaghetti or like stuff in the can, things like that. That stuff that is not going to be not perishable. All right. That's it.
Okay. So we'd like to hear from all of you. Questions, concerns, things that we should know. All right, Sapari?
The past couple of weeks, the
Do you have a slack here? Where's my microphones at? Put one on the sister side, keep one on the brother side. Yeah, everybody hear your what you're saying.
I just wanted to say the last couple of weeks, streaming online from home, praise and worship has been getting cut off, so I'm requesting that the live stays on for that.
Right, for the praise and worship.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so praise and worship should go out for our online family. Right. Oh, well, yeah, it was being done mainly because of the situation at hand. But we'll find a medium to keep it on. We may keep it on going forward, right? But it was a reason why we were cutting it, because we didn't want to promote certain things and cause attention to certain things, you know what I mean? But we had a lot of voices, but we'll see what we can do to keep that going forward. Any other thing?
Someone said I'm in need of the Vero Beach info.
The Vero Beach info. Somebody give me the Vero Beach info. Where's the Vero Beach info? Where's my Vero Beach brothers at? Alright. Did y'all send out the captains?
Malachi,
What are they
did you
doing?
get by y'all? Or no, there was something.
If there's a number or something we could put in the chat for the Vero Beach brothers, so they could people can contact them. We need we got an inquiry online for the Vero Beach location. How do they get in contact? How do they link the brothers in Vero Beach? So we got online, right? We're having the town hall meeting, right? And we got an inquiry online about Vero Beach.
We need info, like how to link up.
How do we tell someone to link up? And
All right, cut. Shalom, shalom.
Yeah, Khan, this is Captain Bayal. I'm captain of 100 for the Law Design. I'm up in Vero Beach. You can contact me at 772-323-4383. 772-323-4383. You can call me, text me, and I'll help you out.
All right. So now we got it in the Hallelujah Thwada, Captain. All right. So they have a link. Put his name, Bayal. Cut. All right, it's Captain Bayaf of 100. So contact him and he'll direct you in where they're going to be holding services and camp and things in Vero Beach section of Florida. I mean, and it covers the whole Gold Coast. It's not just Vero, it's it's Port St. It's all those areas. It's called
the Treasure Coast.
Treasure Coast. Okay, Treasure Coast. All right. Treasure Coast. All right, so this town hall meetings is a time to mention things, to help us direct, our services and better for the children of Israel. Like you said, we're doing a food drive, and we're gonna, we're open to other options, other thoughts, ideas. I know in this COVID-19 time, coronavirus time, we're kind of limited on our interaction with the public, but we're still going out there and teaching the word, so we're open to things that's in that realm. A lot of churches are shut down, but we are BAU, right? Business as usual. So anybody else, anything they want to mention?
Also, I want to mention that this congregation has grown, quite big and pretty fast. So I know a lot of us have started our own business on the side. Whether it doesn't matter what you're selling, but you here, you worship, you're a member of the Light of Zion. All I'm asking is, as a reminder, please do remember to give back, to the Most High. All right. So I know some people are selling T-shirts. They're selling all kind of different things for Israel. I'm not talking about what you're selling outside here, but what you're selling for Israel, make sure you return and give something back as the Most High blessed you. Leave something in the box.
Right, and make sure we're aware of it.
Yeah, we're aware of it. Write
whatever
something on there.
you're doing.
Right.
Whatever you're selling, we need to be aware of it.
Right.
If you're going to be posting it on our chats, we need to be aware of it.
Right.
All right. You can't just post things randomly. I just started doing business yesterday. Let me throw it up on the chat. Doesn't work that way. You need to let the elders know that you're doing this business. We need to talk to you about your business, and then we say we can put it on the chat or not. Everybody understand that? We got to do things in order, right? Wherever we are. So, we want to make sure we're doing things in order. And you know what? If you have a good business going, we're going to support you, right? Anybody knows that started a business and they're here and they brought it to the front, we supported them. You know what I mean? You'll get your first orders from us, all right? So make sure that we are aware of it, we're knowledgeable of it. Consulting your elders and coming to the front of the room is very important. I always push this. Marriages, courtships, they need to come to the front of the room. Everybody understand that? There should be no courtship or any marriages happening in the Light of Zion. Check.
Mic check.
Check.
Okay, there you go.
That was weird. There should be no courtships or any marriages in the Light of Zion not coming to the front of the room. Does everybody understand that? We need to be aware.
That was a lot of cunt on the left-hand side.
Right.
Yeah, that was a loud cunt on maybe something going on with my hearing. But I know this ear heard a lot of cunt. It should be across the room. Cunt?
Cunt.
All right, that's better. Can't pull a wife out of a hat. Akim. All right? And sisters too. You can't pull a husband out of a hat.
No. Not if your marriage is going to be honorable.
Right.
Right. We promote honorable marriage. There's all types of marriages in the world, but we promote the one that's honorable with the Most High, and that's the one that's done up front, up and up, with premarital counseling and all that needs to happen to have a successful marriage, because the nation needs successful marriages. Everybody understand that? We need successful marriages, not just successful marriages. It's not just for you, it's for all of us. Because strong families is going to build this nation. Right? Strong marriages bring forth strong children that is going to multiply good things. So we need that to be a staple in Israel as we come back to our law, statutes, and commandments. There's hundreds of scriptures in the Bible concerning marriage, because marriage is a very important thing. All right? With the Most High. All right? So we want to make sure our marriages are growing and lasting. Bring it to the front of the room. All right? All right? No secret marriages in Israel. No more, I should say, secret marriages in Israel. No more. All right? All right. So, and that goes for our brothers and sisters on the line too. You know what I mean? If you have someone you're interested in or courting or whatever, make sure that you contact your elder. All right? One of your elders, and you put it out there. We'll contact you. Let's get your information. We'll contact you. We'll help you through that process. All right, but we make jokes about these Facebook marriages, but they happen every day in Israel, and they end up in turmoil, and we don't want that anymore in Israel. Everybody understand that? We need to build families to the Most High God. Families, expand families. Some families we're looking to expand. If you're a family and you're looking to add a wife or add more, to your household, bring it to the front of the room. All right? We're about large families in Israel. We're about reestablishing Jacob's heritage, which is a large family. Huh? Right? That's 13 children in Jacob's household. Right? That's a large family. Right? Comparing. Right? That's 13 children. All right? So, we're looking to reestablish righteousness in that perspective. Okay. All right, it's 4 wives, 13 children. All right, so anything else? Sister Desha.
The microphone back. Oh, pass the microphone. There you go. There you go, bro.
Sister Shaw bought those microphones too, man. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, so you get a chance to use them. We got to use them. All right, go ahead.
All right, shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I mentioned in the ladies group chat before, but I was hoping that maybe the women can get in unison with the men and have a dress code. And I just wanted to bring it up again and see if the women might be interested in doing so.
Right. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, go ahead. I'll let you explain. Go ahead. She got a question. Go ahead. What's your question?
What was your definition of dress code? Just how the men have garments. I thought maybe we could have some. It could be different types of styles for the days of the week that we do come, or. So we have to buy additional clothing. Right. Well. Right. For. Not necessarily. That was part of the reason I was saying if we get together and brainstorm, and maybe incorporate the Yashara colors. I thought that would be nice.
So basically, she's saying more like a woman's garment.
Right.
Yeah, she's saying like a woman's garment that's made for the Shabbat. You know what I mean? Like we come in our garments, y'all come in your garments, right? But like you said, amongst the women, y'all could discuss that. As for the Akim, I don't think we have anything against that. We think it's a good idea too. So we believe that's a good idea. We hope that it can springboard and go forward. We choose a modest apparel design, and that design goes forward, for our sisters.
We'll probably have to find something that's already made, just so it's not financially costly for us. Like my household, I have 4. Yeah, right. Because you're saying days of the week, so. Well, I was just throwing that out as a suggestion. Yeah. Yeah. I'm open to
mean, maybe it will be for the Shabbat.
Yeah.
I think it's just for the
But
Shabbat.
I think it's, right now it's just for the Shabbat. Right.
Because people come in here in mini skirts, so I mean that's an issue.
That is an issue. All right. That
Right.
can be worked out with this matter.
Right.
You know, it could be an overgarment. Like you see, our garments go over our clothing. Our garment is not all we have on. Right? So we have clothing. So it could be something to that effect. An overthrow or a shawl or something to that effect that's worn by all of you. You know what I mean? Right? You see what I'm saying? Like so something that can be done. Like a kind of a robe or, you know, something that you wear. Right?
What do they call it? Cardigan or something. Shawl, yeah.
A shawl or what they call an overthrow or something that goes over the garment.
Something like when your Torah's wearing something?
No, not like
Not like that? Okay. Cardigans, huh? I mean,
yes, everybody can sew. The sewing machine actually does the sewing. You just have to learn how to point it in the right direction. Right? So, you know, that's like the stove does the cooking. Just got to put the right stuff in the pot. Right? So, anybody can cook, anybody can sew. You just have to be trained to do so. Right? Just got to be trained to do so.
Well, I know I went
Can
to
we do a seed drive? What is a seed drive?
Seeds to collect seeds for food.
Like to plant somewhere? We can do a seed drive, but we also would have to have land. So unless if somebody here that has a lot of land that want to let us plant in their land, we'll be more than happy to accommodate that. We'll come out there, we'll set it up. You know what I mean? Then the seed drive will have a place to go. Right? So yes, we can do a seed drive, but we need to have someone that has land and has earth that we can work on. Absolutely. That'd be beautiful. You know, when I visited the Knesset down in Guyana, they have acres of land. All right, Knesset is a sanctuary in the country of Guyana. I went out there. They have acres of land of just farmland, and it's not even near the school. They have it someplace else, outside of the city, like in the countryside. And they bought land and they farm their own stuff. You know what I mean? So it's very possible. It doesn't have to be right here in Fort Lauderdale. In other words, that's what I'm bringing out. It can be a land that we have somewhere out west. You know, where stuff is a lot cheaper, you know, where land is a lot cheaper for us to farm our own land, absolutely.
I would love that.
Yeah, we could do a rotation on that, that'd be beautiful. All right, so, you know, so to answer your question, yes, you can have a seed drive, but we do need land. Okay, Sister Maxine. All right, somebody hand one up? I saw a hand go up. I see a hand go up? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. All right. Go ahead.
This is outside of LLC, related but outside. Once everything gets back up and going, are we still set to have our summit?
Oh, the next summit. I have to ask the priest that question. Do I have a priest? North Carolina was the next one.
Well, it was actually scheduled for the last week in July. We actually have a council set for Monday.
Right.
So maybe I'll get some more information on that. But I mean, Esau is talking about they're expecting another virus worse than this one coming. So I saying the second wave, yeah. So I don't know. That may be on hold for now.
Prophets? You saw a prophet?
They're prophets now.
They prophets or they scam artists.
That's because they plan to put it out there.
Exactly.
You the one putting it out there. You know if another one's coming. Right?
I mean, they're going off of the influenza virus that had 2 waves, and the second wave was worse than the first one. All right. They set that out there. They set this out there. So who knows what they got planned? But they're referencing the influenza, the Spanish flu, what was called the Spanish flu. And yeah, and they're referencing that to be, this might be the same wave. One wave came, then the next wave came and knocked out more than the first. And that one, 50 million people died in that one. All right, so could be part of his population control. Who knows what he got cooking? All right, but we know we just gonna keep Torah and we'll be fine. All right, so that's for sure. All right, so we'll see how it plays out. So to answer your question about the summit, it's still up in the air. It may not take place. It's leaning towards not happening. All right, you may have to find some other way of linking together as a body. Any other questions? All right, More.
Yes, I was thinking, do I need a mic?
Yeah, you got a mic on your side.
Sorry.
There should be a mic on.
There's supposed to be a mic on both sides.
I was thinking,
is everybody clear on the spiritual vision for the Light of Zion? Like, we get new members that come, and they might not know how we should behave in certain things.
Right.
And it does bother the next person, you know what I mean? If you want a spiritual walk, it's a spiritual thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
So we got Galatians 5 to prove that. But is everybody clear on it? Do we have a way of getting everybody clear on that before they come through the
Right.
book? You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Good question. All right. The Light of Zion, as a entity, we have a list of bylaws that we are actually having created as we speak. We're putting all the verbiage together that people will get when they come through the door, and a code of conduct per se. And also in that is going to be our mission statement, our the things that we uphold, things that we, the things that, how we want certain things to transpire as a body, so that there's no confusion. All right. So absolutely, we recognize the need for it, and we've already put in place, us trying to create that set of laws, that bylaws, right? So yes, we're working on that. Yeah, we're definitely working on that.
I also want to add to that. I feel like that is also on the responsibility of whoever is inviting that person to come. If you know you're inviting somebody who's never been exposed to this truth or is coming into a new space to find out, it's up to that person to tell them, hey, listen, when you come in here, you can't be acting a certain way, you can't be dressed a certain way. Because many times we have seen people come in here that were invited by actual captains or people who hold real weight in here that have came in here looking crazy, and we're looking at them like, you didn't tell your friend they didn't need to.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll address that. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, when you're inviting someone to us to a gathering like what we have, this is a teaching. It's a place of teaching and learning, and we can advise them to come a certain way. Does not necessarily mean that that's the way they're going to come, right? And we tend to, as a body, as an eldership, give somebody a couple of visits before we say, okay, you're supposed to come into an environment and see something. And when you come into an environment, let's say it's a sister that comes into this environment with their head not covered and their skirt might be a little short. To them, they don't realize that their clothing is not righteous, right? And that person that invite them may not know them well enough to really address their clothing. Mostly we can say is dress like you going to church, right? That's the best we can say to somebody, right? And if they don't understand that, then I would say dress like you're going to do like business, and put on a dress or a job interview. You know what I mean? We got to use a reference that they can understand, but we don't always have that much conversation with someone when we bid them to come. When I came up in this truth, they drop 2 words on you and say, go to class. Go to class. There you will learn. So a lot of times they'll come through this door unlearned and have to learn when they get here. what did Yah wants from them or requires of them. What we need to do, and like Sister Desha is bringing out, and what we press our brothers on, is make sure that we are adorned fully. Because when they come through that door in that room, they're supposed to get an automatic right away scene of people adorned correctly. So they know how to move forward if they come back. You know what I mean? They say, okay, everybody in there, their heads was covered, their dresses were long, you know, the arms were covered, you know what I mean? They had shawls on, things of that sort, because they're visiting, right? So, yes, we should advise anyone that if we have enough conversation with them on what's, you know, so they're not surprised, even for that person, because that person might be embarrassed. They might come and address a certain way and feel embarrassed themselves, right? If we have a young man that's coming, we tell them, you know, no tank tops, you know, cover yourself up. But they may come and they may have flip-flops on, right? They'll learn that they know that's not acceptable in the future, right? The flip-flops. They'll get that understanding when they get here, all right? But we don't want, you know, to hinder somebody from coming because they may not have the right attire. Because some of our people don't have it. I've spoken to young ladies that don't own a dress. Literally. They don't own a dress. They wear pants all their life, right? And you talking to them about the word and come to service and they say, I don't own a dress. I'm not going to say don't come. I'm going to say come anyway, right? And the dress will be provided.
Somebody come in pants versus a short skirt.
Or a short skirt. Don't own a decent skirt.
If we're measuring it like that. But
Right.
I feel like we've been in this congregation for too long where we've seen both instances of someone who has been here several times, who knows the deal, who continues to come. And we've also seen the same side, the other side of that coin where someone is brand new, never seen.
Right.
Each time they both were invited by members of this congregation who
Right.
just said, hey, you need to stop, or hey, this is what you were going to expect us to get on their first visit.
Right. And sometimes, you know, it's a conversation, you know, you can have with that particular sister. You know what I mean? You know, or you have with that brother saying, hey, did you talk to the sister about the entire, you know, maybe you don't feel comfortable because sometimes when you know, when dealing with the opposite sex, sisters dealing with brothers and brothers dealing with sisters, you know, there's certain conversations that people take offense to, you know, quickly. Talk about their clothing, things of that sort. You know what I mean? You know, you don't know what position they're coming from till you get to know them and say, well, okay, this person doesn't have this or this person doesn't see it. They don't realize, even though it's being brought to their attention, right? But we can't get wary with well-doing. We have to continue to talk to that person. Say, oh, listen, you know, we've been here a few times. Hey, sis, you know, cover up this part or that part. If you don't have a covering, let me provide one for you. I'll give you an example. I brought up that example of in Guyana. Me and my daughter, we went to the sanctuary the second time we went, and literally all she had was like her arms out. And what did they do?
They pulled me to the side and gave me a shawl.
Right. They pulled her to the side and put a shawl around her and brought her back into the congregation. There was no issue. There was no word. There was no, right? Now we know if we go there, make sure all your arms is covered up, right? Because we got the correction, right? So why I'm bringing that up this way is there's a positive encouragement and then there's a negative way of dealing with something. We have to make sure that we're doing positive encouragement with people that's coming out of the world into here. Because not everybody going to walk through that door. The fact that they walk through that door already shows that there's an inkling of the Spirit within them. There's an unction of the Spirit within them. And we need to nourish it. We need to feed it and water it and let it grow. Not cut it down. You see what I'm saying? So we got to make sure if they come in, let them come. If they're not adorning, let's talk to them about the adorning. Let's help them adorn. Right? That's why we have the scarves. Right? We have the box of scarves, and we ask people to donate scarves as well. Right? We keep a box of clean, nice scarves for if a sister were to come in and doesn't have a head cover, we can lend her a scarf for the time that she's here, so she's more comfortable amongst everybody else who had us covered. Right? Everybody understand that? All right, so that's what we do. You know, maybe we could, you know, incorporate some shawls or something if somebody's like low cut, you know, to their, you know, shirt or something like that. We can help them cover up in that manner, because that's what the sisters did. They wrapped a shawl around her, so she was good. That's it.
But that's one of the reasons I did bring about the whole. That's one of the reasons I did bring about the whole dress code.
Right.
Or having a garment, because I wouldn't worry about, you know, learning the law and implementing the law. I wouldn't have to worry about when's the last time I wore this or what I'm gonna look like this time.
Mm-hmm.
I have garments set for a class. I don't really have to dwell on that.
Right.
And it's up to every, you know, woman in the class. They may say, you know, this is something I want to wear this time or whatever. I don't think it's going to be like a mandatory thing you have to wear this when you come in, but it does alleviate people from having to worry about those concerns when they get up and say, I want to go.
I think, like you said, you preach to the choir right now. Right, we are 100% behind that. I thought that idea is a beautiful idea. It's only going to bring forth more unity, right? A unification, because now it's not everybody going to be so individual. We're going to have some more unification in their attire. You know, there's a top and bottom type skirt and shirt or a full-on dress. They could go with either one of those options. But you guys got to come up with options that you're comfortable with, and we'll support that. Right? As the eldership, we support that idea, right? So it's just for it to get nourished within the system, all right? Another question came up?
No, we're just gonna.
There's a microphone.
Oh, I thought I saw a hand go
We're
up.
gonna continue the conversation with the sisters.
Okay.
I think maybe we should have this during a different time, because I feel like there's nobody here.
There's what?
That's my next thing.
Yeah, there's nobody here. I feel like we're.
Well, there's enough people here to discuss it. Yeah, there's enough people here to discuss it. You know what I mean? It just takes a few. That's a beautiful thing about it's a big town hall, but I think it takes a few sometimes to set the motion forward. Right? It should be, but what it is. Right? Oh, you're talking about do it earlier.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Because I mean, at least we got more bodies in the seat. Because some of the people, some things we may be addressing, the people that need to hear it are not here.
Right. I got you.
I was leaving
Mm-hmm.
until I heard that we had a meeting.
Right.
And, I've been trying to get on the road.
Yeah.
But it'd be good to know that we have a meeting, just like we would know that there's a new homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
Like prepare everybody for that.
Right.
Like get more people in. So because they got something called cascading messages where if I'm in a meeting, I gotta make sure my brother or my sister know what happened in the meeting. So
Right.
so they don't be lost.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's one thing. Can we know ahead of time and kind of like say it?
Calendar.
Right.
Like a calendar.
The town hall meeting is every first Shabbat of the calendar month.
Okay.
That is it. All right.
We'll put it in. Yeah, put it in the head.
Yep. Every first Shabbat of the calendar month, not the biblical month. Calendar month.
Okay.
Right. The month on your calendar on the wall. Every first Shabbat. So you look at your calendar month. The first Shabbat that comes in that month, there's a town hall meeting after service. Okay. Go ahead.
Is there a way for us to get an actual calendar? Like
You're talking about a biblical calendar now.
Just with everything that's related to LOZ, a calendar that just has all of our stuff on it.
But we were looking into the calendar. We try to get something that's cost effective.
Mm-hmm.
But we've always had the town hall the first Saturday of every month. So that's something that's always been. And not necessarily people that are here probably would not be participating anyway. But what's going to happen is whatever the consensus point we come to, it is going to be cascaded through the whole congregation.
Right.
Is whether they're gonna participate in what we put down, or they're gonna have to find somewhere else to congregate. Because we're starting to, Esau is coming together. I was teaching Thursday class, and that. Listen, we try to express to you about what Esau and the other nations are planning for Israel in these last days, but you really can't fathom all the evil and wickedness that they're intending for us. So we really have to get ourselves together, get up, on one accord, be circumspect in everything that we do. We got to get more serious with this thing. We really want the kingdom. Okay. we gotta get more in order. That's what we're trying to put together, order for the nation. So, like I said, you know, we thank all of you that you know that are here today, that are participating, giving your input. But you know, some of these things that you're bringing up, things that the leadership we've already talked about, but we actually have to, you know, get it put in place, because this is the time. It's an urgency that we do put these things in place if we want to be able to survive in these last days, what Esau is planning for us as a nation.
Just one more question.
Go ahead.
One more question. So I look at Light of Zion like a family, like one big family. Remember, we still have heads, which are you guys, and we have the body, which is the congregation. At what percentage do you feel like the congregation is getting on the same page with the heads? If you had to give me a percentage, just so I can see what we should be looking at. Because if we had like 40%, 50%, we need to know that, hey, we need to really step it up and not mess around.
Yeah, I mean, the culture of the Light of Zion is we established that through our program of our officer program. We're establishing our culture through the officer program. This is, you know, a lot of the weight is going to fall on our officers to echo what the leadership is bringing forth, you know what I mean, and go all the way down the line, right? We have an open door policy at the Light of Zion, meaning that without one of those closed camps where you only can come here, you can't deal with nobody else, and you know, and how dare you know get understanding from someplace else. We don't have that culture, but we do, and we are looking at a stronger ways of bringing forth our doctrines, what we understand to be solid and true, and you know, putting it on paper so that the culture can go all the way through. And our officership program, and we're supposed to start a junior officer program for our children that's under, was it 12 and under? I think
12 and over.
12 to 19, maybe?
Yeah.
It's 12 to 19?
Yeah.
Okay, 12 to 19 bracket, right? Which is a junior officer program, to start getting them echoing the same knowledge from the leadership, so they can learn how to be leaders in their age groups, in their age brackets. And, you know, so that's how we're going to penetrate the wisdom from up here all the way to the back of the room. Because we know that people are online, we know they're on other breakdowns, and they get understandings from all over the world. And, you know, that's why we try to address things. If I hear something, I'll address it in class so we all have an understanding, so that none of us is confused with the breakdown or the understanding. But I would say, I would be presumptuous to make that proclamation. I could say all my soldiers and officers are on the same page. Outside of that, I would like to say maybe 50-50 outside of the soldiers and officers. All right, Aria?
Pass the mic. Pass the mic. Pass the Aria.
There was a doc on the microphone a second ago.
Speaking of the spiritual level, and as far as the sisters, making sure that the sisters come and dressed in modest apparel, I think in order for us to be on the same page, we really gonna need the sisters' help as well too.
Right.
Because I might have a few sisters I want to invite here, you know, but if they got a different doctrine on this side, you understand?
Right.
I mean, I don't want to come out and have my own school, but in order to, grow the nation, and bring them and grow, continue to grow the Light of Zion, I feel like, I might be teaching my household one thing, and, my sisters might come here and be like, hey, this sister, is telling me this.
I get where you're going with that. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's plenty of people I could invite, to the Light of Zion, but I feel like it's a lot of smoke on, this side, when it comes to a certain doctrine. You understand? And to my understanding, I feel like it's a different doctrine on this side. And if we're on one accord, you know, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how can both sides be on.
You know, the answer to that, you know, and I've seen this, you know, and the priest can also attest to this when you go amongst other cultures in Israel. When you go amongst other cultures in Israel, the elder women take charge. They take charge. They don't play around with their younger sisters, and you know, it's not a free fall with the women in their congregation, and the men is not really dealing with it, right? From my experience, and I've seen this in multiple congregations of, for lack of a better word, they call them Old Testament Israelites, for lack of a better word, right? But you know, I don't like to peg them like that, because yes, they don't have certain understandings we have, but there's certain things that they have we don't have, and I recognize that. You know what I mean? And we're growing in those levels, because the eldership here, we interact with those other Knessets and groups of thought and scriptures, and see how they operate for generations. Remember, a lot of them are 4 or 5 generations Israelites, 6, 7 generations Israelites. A lot of us are first generation Israelites. So we need to start somewhere and build that culture. But the Imah is a very important part of the body of any Knesset, any sanctuary. And the Imah is the mothers, right? The mothers have heavy responsibility in a lot of these cultures. We've been to Dimona. They didn't play with the Imahs. You know what I mean? Shema Israel. We've been to, you know, even when I mentioned, when I went to the Knesset in Guyana, that sister that got the shawl put over my daughter, she's the wife of the priest. You know what I mean? She's an imam of that congregation. So they take an active role. And I think once that is, if somehow we can establish that, it's going to take care of those issues. Because it's not going to be like the battle of the sexes type of stuff. That they, you know, the men say this and the women say that. It's not going to be about that. It's going to be about all of us looking towards Yahweh. All right? So, you know, our elder sisters, sometimes you might feel because you don't have as much precepts per se. It's not about that. It's about discipline. Right? It's about discipline. And that discipline puts you in a position. So we as an eldership, we're going to counsel on it. We're going to ask certain sisters to raise to the occasion of being an imam over their sisters, their like sisters amongst them. And hopefully they'll take on that task. And until we can have sisters take on that task, it's going to be like that, honestly. You know what I mean? Because there's always a sense of, how could you say, getting over on me between men and females. Like, even the men do it too. If a woman tells them something, it could have been, she could have been right, but the man is going to take it a certain way because it came from the woman. So I'm not saying that this is the way this is corrected is that we need elder women to raise up to their potential, and we need our men to continue to be on their potential, dealing with their brothers, and we need our sisters to deal with the sisters, right? And we need to have a culture of respect. A culture of respect for an elder sister. When an elder sister says something, it's supposed to be the law. You know what I mean? And ain't, you know, all that attitude and talking back and all that kind of stuff. And once we can get to that culture and that respect, right, a lot of these things won't even exist. You know what I mean? It won't even exist. Go ahead.
So what do you do if you teach in your household one thing, righteously, and then when your household come here, and they sit down next to someone and they plant a bad seed, and it goes against what you're teaching at your house.
Right. You got to build a hedge around your house, brother. You know what I'm saying? You have to be that armed force in your household. Man, as a man, we're the hedge of our household. Right? That's what the scriptures say. Right? So your wife or your household, your children, your daughters, your sons are supposed to look towards you as their guidance when it comes to scripture. Right? And as a body, once we can build how could you say, like a hierarchy, for lack of a better word, you know what I mean, like a tier system to our sisters, right? Then we can now rely on that resource. But for now, your household is to look towards you. They need to trust you. You need to build your household, not just with teaching them, but through our actions and our words. They're going to ever be fortified and trust us and follow what we're teaching them.
I understand that. The reason why I said that because we brought up the subject on one accord. You understand?
Yeah, I got you.
That's why I'm saying, because brother, he asked questions. I'm like, Lord, that's a good question.
I don't disagree with what you're bringing out at all. I think it's important.
So it could be, I mean, you can have a strong household, and then that's how you know when the household is strong, when they bring you back.
Right.
Being,
That's it.
That's
it. And we got to continue, and we got to grow from there. And those that are strong, that's why we, earlier we talked about the secret marriages, right? That's why we got to stop those things out, because those things breed issues. You know what I mean? They're catalysts for problems down the line, because you have husband and wives that are not on the same accord, but they're together. And then what happens when they're not sitting next to each other? There's two different understandings coming out. That's not going to work. That's going to break us down as a body, as a nation, right? When the scriptures say we become one, right? That is physical and spiritual. And if you're one with your spouse, man or female, right? Then what you're echoing, what you're saying, they should be saying the same thing, right? That's what it should be. And if it's not, then we need to go into that situation and see why isn't it? What's really the reason? A lot of times you go into the situation and you realize there's reasons why they're not saying the same thing. You know what I mean? Because the behaviors that we see may not be the behaviors that they leave these doors, right? On the man's side and the woman's side, right? And because those behaviors don't continue, right? When they leave these doors, we get the residual effect. Right? So all that we're talking about is, as the priest is saying, we got to tighten up so that when the enemy is coming at us, there's no place for him to go. Right? Because if the enemy comes in, like, damn, they all saying the same thing. There's no place for me to rest. There's no sin for me to attach myself to. Right? And that keeps Satan from our midst. Right? It keeps Satan from our midst. So what we're doing, every action that we're taking is with that thought in mind. Right? That we all speak the same thing. Sis, in the microphone.
Well, I just wanted to add what he's saying, because we have an open door policy here, everybody is at a different level of growth. So where you might be, this other person might not be there yet. So you can't control if I'm on one side of this and you're on the other side of it. Not necessarily me, but just anybody in general. So you have to give that chance to get there, to see, for the Most High to reveal that to them, to say this is righteous, we're all on one accord. It takes time. It's not just we all go to LSE, we're all on the one page.
Right.
We have several people here that are not necessarily in agreement with certain topics, but yet they need to come here every Shabbat to get that word, regardless of whether this week we're in agreement, or the next week we're not in agreement. They need to be fed every Shabbat. And so, it just takes that time to cultivate that.
And everybody, like you said, take your time to grow in the word and understanding on certain things. I get that, I understand that. Right, but as an organization, anytime you walk through a door and you enter an organization, there's laws of this organization that must be upheld. And if you feel differently about the laws that's being upheld in this organization and you keep it to yourself, that's one thing, right? But you dishonor the whole organization when you speak against it. That's the part that a lot of people don't realize. They might be thinking they're just talking from their perspective, but you're actually circumventing the leadership by having a different doctrine. Right? And so we speak about that, having doctrines in the back of the room and on the sidebar and all these type of things that come to pass. Those things are more hurtful because it becomes murmuring. Right? That's what it really is. Right? It becomes murmuring. Because if it wasn't murmuring, it'd be brought to the front. And when it's brought to the front and then it's cut down, if you continue, then now you're doing something. Now you went from a lack of understanding to being spiteful and vengeful. You know what I'm saying? It comes spiteful, it becomes vengeful. So we got to be careful with that. So yeah, we understand people have to grow. Like, for instance, you know, we're learning Hebrew. We're learning, the Ivrit, right? We've for a long time, you've heard us speak the Lashon Kodash. We're eldership that realize the importance of the Ivrit and then learning. There might be other congregations that say you don't need to know Hebrew. So I'm not going to go to their congregation and say, y'all need to know Hebrew. I know that your teaching doesn't teach to know Hebrew. I believe so. I know so. But I'm not going to go to your congregation and say you need to learn Hebrew. Just like you're not going to come here and say we don't need to know Hebrew. Right? Because you're going to set yourself up, you know what I mean, to be at variance to the room, against the spirit that's in the room. Everybody understand that? Right? You know, there's certain, at some point you got to honor the body. And if you're going to come in amongst the body and you know you're struggling with something, you can't speak against it. Does everybody understand that? Because if you speak against it, you're not just speaking against this one person or this one thing, you're speaking against the whole body. Okay? So just keep that in mind. All right? But I get where you're going with it. All right? Priest, want to say something?
Yeah, just to elaborate it back, the mere fact that we do have the open door policy, we're going to run into these situations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not only on the sister side, there's brothers that's coming here too.
Mm-hmm.
That's counseling other people here that, unawares. There are people here that are on other Bible study classes that come here. Okay, a lot of times we have to end up counseling situations that arise out of those situations.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the Chief Minister said, it's up for the husbands to put their hedge or have a clear understanding at home, because there's a thin line between having a congregation and what people label a cult.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to come off as a cult. We want everyone to be persuaded in their own mind. Now, how things get to a situation where it becomes evil is where, like the Chief Minister said, that we have an organization that is certain things that we have certain expectation. This is what we believe in. And if you're causing a situation where you're causing some type of strife or some type of energy, then that's a problem. You understand? That becomes an issue. So we just have to work on that. But eventually, all these doctrines, all these things that are not solid, they're going to fade away in these last days.
Oh, yeah.
So the true gospel, the true understanding of this Bible is going to be manifest in the end. And if you're not dealing with that, then you're just going to fade away. Okay? Right now, you got people that, want to profess themselves. We saw Tyler Dockett, the brother, said he's the comforter. He's not here. He's a young brother. I came up with the brother, he was doing certain things that's unbelievable. I don't know if you saw when he came out with a doll that looked like him. They were selling like $100. It was like he was selling an action figure, $150. And nobody around him would tell him that's idolatry. You understand? So, but you know these brothers, they know the scriptures, but they do something like that. So you gotta understand, I looked at it as like the Most High is not playing. The Most High is not playing, and we have to understand that we have to come on one accord. Okay, it's going to be a struggle. Again, we have the open door policy, so it's going to be like that. But the sisters came out with the uniform apparel. That's a positive move. There's certain issues that we have to work on the men's side as well. I mean, it's not just pointing fingers at one side of the room. It's a full circle with everything that has to be done, and we have to acknowledge that. But for the most part, I'm proud of the congregation. Like I said, I've talked to other people. A lot of the other places, I'm bringing it over here. A lot of the other places, they're closed down. They're not even coming together. Okay, everybody's in quarantine. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
But that's just showing a level of faith that we instill in our parishioners to have faith in the Most High of Mashiach Yahushua. Okay? So I want you guys to, be proud of yourselves that, you are walking in faith, okay, and that's a beautiful thing.
God, hallelujah. Sister Deshawn.
I just wanted to add on. To what was said as far as like if there's different doctrines coming out. I'm just going to speak from the woman's perspective. How I usually handle things like that is I'll refer a person back to their head, or I'll refer them back to the elders. It depends on my level of relationship with them. If I know them for quite some time, I'll tell them what I saw in the scriptures, and I'll still refer them back to. But you're to seek counsel from your head or go back to the elders. Nobody wants it to come off like you're causing friction in someone else's household. So to me, that's like the best way to handle it. Just kind of stay out of it if at all possible.
Right.
I was going to say, some of the ones that do cause issues don't have a head.
Right.
And they don't even look to come to the elders at all.
Right.
But they don't have a head. So it's like, why would I listen to someone that's not married about marriage?
Right.
They don't have even a boyfriend. Why would I even get into a conversation? You understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's unwise counsel according to the Bible.
Wise counsel.
Wise
Our
counsel.
spirit got to really step it up.
Yeah.
And I'm saying for the individuals who can hear, let your spirit step it up.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of Most High in you. Let that thing grow because you got enemies that'll sit around you.
Yeah.
There was an enemy sitting there when Yahweh was preaching. So it was a demon inside the church with him. So he had to tell them to shut up.
Yeah.
So they be around, and their job is to get in the way. They're not trying to do anything to help the kingdom. So you gotta know that.
Yeah,
you gotta recognize that and just cut your conversation short with them.
That's it.
That's it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That's wisdom. That's wisdom. So that's another way of tackling those type of matters is that you don't give Satan an ear, man. You don't give him no ear. You know what I mean? And you cast him out for what he is. If you're causing discord or something to that effect, we know that's not the spirit of Yah. All right, the spirit of Yah is to bring us to one accord, to bring us to peace. All right, that's what the law is to. So we know that's the outcome. And when it comes to developing and learning and time is short. Time is not. We all have the same amount of time per day, and how we use it is gonna confess where you at. Because sometimes people might say, I'm taking a longer time to understand something, but you didn't put the effort in to understand it, right? You didn't put the work in to understand it. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's someone sitting on, waiting for the understanding to be delivered to them, instead of going out and seeking that understanding. If you don't understand something, I should be getting hit up. The marshal should be getting hit up. The elder priest, Lapalau should be getting hit up. Listen, I don't get this. Why are you guys saying this? And that's our job. You know what I mean? We'll get on it, or we'll assign one of our, we got our 100s, our 50s, that they have to now step up and deal with that matter. If we're occupied, but we won't leave you answerless. That's our job. That's how, that's something that we sacrifice our time to make sure we don't leave you answerless. But sometimes people get comfortable having a question. They don't really want to answer. Because the question is comfortable enough, because Satan dwells in doubt. So long as he can give you a little bit of doubt, he's happy, because that means you can't choose, right? Because that inkling of doubt is in your spirit. So you got to purge doubt out of your mind, right? If Yah wills it, it is so, and that is it, right? And there'll be no doubt in your mind, right? Because that doubt is dangerous. Right? That doubt is very dangerous. Right? You be tossed to and fro with wind of doctrine through the doubt that's in your spirit. Okay, so having faith is the opposite of doubt. Right? You got to move faithful. All right, so time is short. We talk about the times that we're living in. We talk about what we're seeing on the TV screen. We talk about what we're witnessing in our lives, family members dropping dead, all kind of stuff. We're talking about it. Are we making adjustments for it? Right? Are we making adjustments? Are we hearing the cry? You know what I mean? Because the cry is that we got to get right and get tight and get with our power and get behind him, because the storm is coming. Right? The storm is coming. It's part of it is here. Right? We didn't get swept up in it. Hallelujah. Well, we don't want no part of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want none of that smoke, as Ariel was saying. The Most High got smoke in the earth right now, and I don't want none of it. Right? Right? So we're going to do what's right. You know, we're going to make sure that what we say is right. We're not just going to be speaking off our lip. You know, that's why we keep a eldership council, because if I say something that's not right, my eldership council pull my coattail and say, I don't know about what you just, you know, and we discuss it, and then if I stand corrected, I stand corrected, right? If the priest says something, and I don't know, and we go back and forth, he stand corrected, stand corrected. That's the beautiful thing the scriptures say about the safety and the multitude of counselors. That's why there's no one person sitting up here. That's why we're not dealing with no cultish environment here. We're not saying the Most High is being down and sent somebody amongst us to give us all this. Listen, right? The Most High didn't beam down any of us. We all fighting for that same pence.
Second in command.
Right? Under Christ. Right? We're not saying any cultish statements down here. So that you don't have to worry about here.
Right.
Right? We honor great men. We have great men sitting up here and we honor them. But we don't worship man. We worship the Most High God. Everybody understand that? All right? So you don't got to worry about that here. Right? We all take low. We all, you know, what do we have in common? We all have that humbleness to take correction. Right? And that keeps us going from year after year after year. Right? Because we have that humbleness to take correction. We're not going to be steadfast and rebellious. You know what I mean? We're going to take it. You know what I mean? Say, okay, well, we see that in the scripture, we don't see it. All right? So rest assured on that. And many have come to our doors with different doctrines. And we've dealt with a lot of the doctrines that a lot of our people think they just heard. We dealt with that years ago. Right? Because we've been on the front lines dealing with this a long time. We didn't hide. If somebody got something they want to bring out, that open door policy allows us to come up against every doctrine that's out there. Right? And they come in the door, we try it, we see what it is, and we say, you know what? We cancel if it's no good. And if it is good, we pick up the notch. Right? You know, I brought up the Ivrit. It was something that was brought to us. We didn't fight. We said, you know what? This is Tov. You know what I'm saying? We said, we took career. Yeah, we learned the Lashon Kodash. But we heard something that was told, we could not deny it. Right? Some people would deny it because of pride. Oh, that's not what that was taught me. Yeah, so what? It's something that we see that okay, this is right. So we move forward with it. We move forward with it. All right? So
it started like with the Torah portion. Because at one point
it was brought to us.
We was not, reading the Torah portion. We was actually just going through these topics during the Shabbat. And it was brought to us. It was brought to us to bring out, the Torah portion, and we were both like, all right. It didn't happen right away, but eventually.
Quickly.
It
didn't take long.
It didn't take long.
It didn't take long for us to establish it. And
right.
now that, 6 years ago, 7 years ago? We've been doing the portion that long. Right? So that's 6, 7 years ago already we've been in the portion. Right? It was brought to us. We said, wait, we should be doing this.
Listen, let me tell you something. As my experience, some years ago, we actually, when we used to have our high holy days on the tabernacles, right? The first day of the tabernacle, we always went into the park and kept the first day of the tabernacle. And then we left the park. And we had to close in at the school. Well, one day we was out there and, the elder priest was like, listen, I want to introduce you to this another brother who's keeping the tabernacles in the park. So I was like, what do you mean keeping it in the park? He's out here, man. So I'm like, okay. So we went to meet him. Elder priest introduced us to him. And, we looked at each other like, hey, you know what?
It didn't need to be said.
They
all kind of each other. It was like,
listen, it was like something just went off in your head. Like, you know how you get this relief, like, bing, and you feel this rush come down, and you're like, oh, it's going down. And that's what it was. And we left that brother, and the four of us looked at each other and was like, next year, it's going down.
Yeah.
No matter what. It's going down. Hallelujah.
Yeah. And when something is right, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. When something is right in the spirit,
right.
Your elders, they gonna see it. They gonna know. We gonna know. We gonna look at each other. We gonna be like, yo, that's told. That's right.
That's the right.
And we gonna move forward with that, and we gonna try to establish it.
And let me say something. We were out there with our wives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the wives came. You know, we stayed for a couple of days. Yashapar stayed for a day or so. You know.
That was the following year.
The following year, okay. But the women, you know, they got into it, and you know what? Every year now, they pushing like, hey, when's the tabernacle? They texting me on the side. Moshe, you know you do the calendar. When's the tabernacle?
Yeah, they're preparing for it.
They're preparing for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the spirit. That's how our women are supposed to be. But it just takes some time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just got someone reached out regarding two things regarding getting a larger place, and also we've been working on for a while getting a school van. But just to elaborate on the school, there's different zoning restrictions, different areas. A lot of you that were with us when we were on commercial, even though that place was larger than here, the way the way it's zoned, I think in that space they said the maximum people you can have there was 20 people.
25. Yeah.
25 people.
Right.
Per bathroom.
And that was the place was much bigger than here.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you know, it would be ideal to get a larger place, but there's certain things to take into consideration. I mean, I was always stressed out over there because they would actually have inspectors coming by. One time a fire marshals came by.
Yeah.
A lot of you don't even know the stuff I had to go through. They even called me down one day for a committee meeting. I had to go before a committee meeting with fire inspector and stuff like that. And they threatened me if we come there, if we see some type of church thing, you know, we're gonna fine you, blah blah blah. All kind of stuff is going on with that. So, you know, right where we are right now, you know, under the radar. You understand? I mean, sometimes it could be, you know, tight. But we have peace. You know, I don't want to put us out somewhere where we're being harassed, because I think there was a location, I think IUIC had a place somewhere off of Oakland. They had to leave from there.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to put ourselves in our way where we're being harassed and stuff like that. Now, right now, basically, we have one. There's another tenant next door that we have a relationship with, and we pretty much occupy all the parking. You know what I'm saying? If we go to another place, we may have to share parking, and they wouldn't be so cooperative of letting us use all the parking space. You understand? So these are things that we got to take into consideration. You know, we got to take those into consideration again. And then, you know, also too, as we see the congregation fluctuates, you might see a person here 1 week, they may not come back again, you know, maybe another week or whatever like that. And sometimes the person may come, a new person might come in, so things fluctuate, so it's not really a consistency. So that's another thing to look at as well. And also having a relationship, you know, I have a relationship with the landlord, whatever, and you know, all those things have to be taken into consideration. As far as the van, you know, those of you that, you know, got stimulated this year, you know, if you wanna help donate to the van, because right now, normally we have a lot of vehicles that go out to camp. We would like to get one vehicle, you know, one 15-passenger van that will take a majority of the brothers. That way, it's less gas being consumed, less cost, things like that. So, you know, we would appreciate, you know, the charity if we can, you know, have some extra funds coming that we can actually go out there and get, you know, get like a 15-passenger. That would be helpful. A lot of time, like even like when we had the summit, I rented a 15-passenger van. You know, we use that to, you know, go to drop certain things off. So it could be helpful. So that's something that and those of the parishioners that are not here today, if you want to share with them what we talked about, you know, so they'll be aware of what we talked about. You can let them know that you know we're doing the drive for the van, and if they want to contribute, the LOZ Cash App, to send it there. Come.
As far as the van, I told all the soldiers, officers, captains, if everybody put $100, if all of them put $100, I'll match them whenever they come up with. I told them that for a year now. They never insisted on putting up nothing. I mean, and as far as the new location, I understand that COVID-19 right now is not a good time to get, another location because we don't know if, this might be our last step right here. But as far as that, captain of 50s, they put $50 for a regular rate. Captain of 10 put $10 for, captain of 100, $100, captain of 1,000 put $1,000, so it
right, so
to be,
I just wanna correct something you said. A lot of money has come in for the van. Money has come in for the van. It's just not enough yet. Money has come in for the van, just not enough yet. So a lot of brothers did put that money up for the van. So you may not know it because we collect the money, so I'm privy to it. But a lot of money has come in for the van. It's just not there yet. You know what I'm saying? So once we hit that number, we have a number that we would like to hit. So so when we come for the match, it's gonna be a nice match. So I hope you think we ain't coming at you with no 1,500. So I just let you know. I'll let you know, brother. So
I'm a soldier of the Most High. I've been with LOZ for a minute.
Right. Yeah, I see that.
Kahan, he's not lying. I see people come. You see them one season, they go.
Yeah.
They come and go, but all the people, the faces that you see that's committed.
Right.
They need to be financially committed too.
Yeah.
Some brothers can't do some could do more. But
and we appreciate your generosity as well. Don't take that, we don't take it lightly. The offer that you sent forth. We know that's the spirit of Yah, and it's a way that you could express, your zeal for getting this work and getting this word out there. At the same time, there's a lot of different pots that keep this place running, and sometimes we got to go into one pot to feed another pot. You know what I mean? Because we deal with a lot of, we try to glorify the holy days. We try to do a lot of things in light of Zion. We don't take no shorts. As you've been to our services and our, anytime we do something, we don't halfway do things. You know what I mean? So that takes effort. It takes shaquam, for lack of a better word, right? So it takes a lot of shaquam. So, we would like to just empty out the account and get the van, but we have to use wisdom. We have to use wisdom until we get to a certain level that we can feel that we can put this so much aside and still operate the same way we've been operating, and then we'll bring it out and say, okay, we're ready.
Well, because the next thing we gotta look at somewhere to park it, insurance. So these are other. Yeah, it's no such thing as free insurance. But these other things. So we were talking about we now have the internet. So these are one of the things that we were talking about. Now we have internet here in the school. So a lot of things that we spoke about that we needed to upgrade the experience of the live stream and stuff like that. We have been doing that. The sister was so gracious to bless us with the microphone. So all these things, the Danyala, the speakers, stuff like that, everything enhancing, even the video stuff that he's been working on. So a lot of things we have been, we're hearing things from the congregation. We try to put everything in place, but we want to be realistic because even when we got the place in commercial, brothers like pledge. They said, listen, we're gonna pledge and donate. As soon as something something went one way, guys cut out. And I still see the brothers to this day. And so there's no love lost, but sometimes people go through different phases in life. But like they say in Hollywood, the show must go on. So it is what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't want to leave out the chief priest who helped redecorate this beautiful sanctuary. Come on now, give it up for the Most High. The priest, right? priest is doing is decorating, you know, and you see the coloring. Y'all laugh, but you know, this priest brought out these colors and said, yo, bring the colors out with the other brother, your white design. We all sat down and picked these colors out. As you notice, we have some railing on the side of the wall, you know, so you don't bang up the wall and mess it up. Yeah, it's beautiful, huh? Yeah. And this beautiful red behind me and this beautiful red on the table. We couldn't did it without our elder priest. Hallelujah. That's right. Hallelujah. So, you know, we beautified the place. The priest has got, you don't have the green thumb, but he got the other thing, you know what I mean? The HGTV spirit now. Decorating, you know, interior decorator. But that's, hallelujah, that's what he's supposed to do. And the Lord, look at the prayers up here on the wall, you know? You know, I mean, this is it, man. And things are changing. Things are changing.
Oh, and we actually too, our next project we're working on, we're adding another bathroom. So that's something I actually found out one of the brothers is a plumber. So that's the next step we work. We have the one of the brothers donated the stuff for the bathroom. But now we're working on running the pipes and stuff like that. So now we're gonna have a separate bathroom, one for the woman, one for the men.
Okay.
It's going down. Ariana, I'm sorry. Oh, you ladies want the new bathroom? Okay.
In the meantime, just so everyone can know,
everybody's talking at the same time.
Just so Priest can know, I will be keeping my eye out for a location, and I will keep that in mind about the parking, because I do have a few contacts. And believe it or not, the more Esau love their dog, the more we can be,
Right, I understand.
Listen, let me tell you, the minister said it right. It's crazy on how Esau love their dog.
Right.
And you know, I'm gonna keep my eye out, and
right.
I'm gonna, you know, if I do see that or whatever, I mean, I'm gonna keep everything in mind. The parking, the, you know, association, the landlord, the neighbors, all of that. We find that nice location. I mean, in front of 2 or 3 witnesses, more than 2 or 3 witnesses. I mean, we're ready to take the next step.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, all those things are key factors. You know, all the things are key factors: the neighbors, the landlord, the location, the community. You know, all that stuff is like even there was one day we was out here, a guy from across the street was videoing with his phone. Now, I thought that he was going to go turn it over to the popo, but he was just amazed that we were here. You know what I'm saying? So if it could have been something opposite, where he just sent that over to you know where, and then you know another situation. But you know, depending on the neighborhoods, you know, they may not be
welcoming
us. You know, they're like, why you not quarantined? You know what I'm saying? So.
I'm sorry, Nathaniel. Got the mic up front? Oh, you need one.
I was just gonna ask, like, if there's a way we could see like where we're at with the where we're at with the van, and see how much we need to get to where we need to go. You know, like just so everybody has a number in their head. All right, so this is the goal right here. All right, so let's get to this goal. You know, I don't know if that's possible or not.
It's possible. We just have to do some counting and set it aside and yeah, where we at. So we'll work on that and get that out to you guys, so you know where exactly we stand on that. You can do that. All right.
Spar, you standing up? What's going on? Oh, you're sitting down. Okay. I thought you had something on your mind.
All right. So I think it's been a very productive town hall meeting. I pray that our meetings continue to be this way, and that some things, the takeaways from this meeting is, you know, we're going to, you know, do a better job at protecting the doctrines and the learnings and understandings here at Light of Zion. We're all going to take a personal responsibility, you know, for doing that. You know, we hear things that's contrary, that we address it. As for the sisters and the new sisters coming in, we want to, you know, like I said, we're going to be asking some of our imams in the congregation to take a more active role on young women coming in, and also establishing amongst the women to honor these imams You know what I mean? You know, maybe we'll have like a group like the Imams of Yasharala.
That black thing move is in front of your face.
Oh, the Imams of Yasharala, you know what I mean? The Imams of the Light of Zion. And, you know, that they're going to be responsible for echoing the knowledge of the eldership, you know, amongst the sisters. So we're going to look for sisters to join that group of Imams. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? That we're going to establish a group amongst the sisters. I'm throwing a name on it, like Imams, all right? Or maybe it'll be a different name that's going to be responsible for echoing the thoughts and the righteousness that's coming from the eldership, so that our sisters can have a resource that's another sister that can break things down and work with them, you know, according to what the eldership is established doctrine-wise. So we'll address that situation that way. And, you know, as for the men's side, we're just going to make sure that we're all echoing the same words. Captains, officers, you know, that is their responsibility to continue to bring out what we teach here. We're going to do the accounting for the van. You know, we'll take all that in consideration. The dress code, sister brought out the dress code. You know, hallelujah for the dress code. All right, that's how the song goes. So we would love to see the dress code
In the class, on Wednesday.
established in a uniform style, and we're gonna work on that. So those are the takeaways really from this meeting. You know, we appreciate everybody's you know, participating in it. Because like you say, a lot of people kind of just said, "Oh, it's over," and they ducked out, and they didn't participate. But you stayed, and for that we're truly thankful. You know, y'all recognizes all your diligence and your sacrifice. I'm sure there's other places you could have been right now, right? You could have been halfway up the highway already. You know what I mean? You know, to your rest. But you know, you stuck it out, as well as the rest of you stuck it out, and we appreciate your sacrifice. So we say hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. So throughout for everybody attending the town hall meeting, throughout everybody online that stayed logged in, throughout for your inputs. We will, you know, address, you know, like the C drive and things of that sort, you know, and you know, because we got to get healthier. You know, we have, you know, that's coming up soon. We have that coming up. We're gonna have a good